Hershey Park Stadium, Pennsylvania's championship network, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, is proud to present high school football. Tonight, PIAA AAA State Championship live from Chocolatetown, USA. Out of the west, the Vikings of Hopewell. Out of the east, the Panthers of Strath Haven, making their 4th consecutive trip to the gold medal game. Good evening, everyone. Jed Donahue along with Gary Sutton, and also Steve Bowen is with us as well. Chilly temperatures greet us tonight, but not much wind. And considering yesterday we had 6 to 8 inches of snow, we got pretty fast track, real good track. Both teams like to live on the ground, and guys, this has been a much anticipated matchup. Steve, Hopewell comes out of the west. This is a team really not favored to come out of the WPIAA. They've been in a lot of real tough games this year and knocked off Perry, who hadn't had a point scored on them all year last week.
They're also playing their best football of the season right now. You said there's not much wind. These guys don't care about wind because it's absolutely positively going to be a ground fest tonight between these two.
Well, Gary, let's talk Strath Haven. Kevin Clancy, the coach there, has built really one of the top programs in this state. They're here for the 4th consecutive year. 64-game regular season win streak. We were here a year ago and saw their only loss in 4 years, 28-13 to West Allegheny. They're young. They've got some veterans in some areas, and they're really playing well.
And they got a junior named Dan Connor that's a big timer. He's a fullback. He's going to run a lot tonight. And on the other side, Paul Pozlesny is an outstanding young player. He is going to be the real deal. He's already with Penn State. Connor being recruited by Penn State.
Steve, 689 to nothing. Wasn't that Perry a week ago? And then Hopewell came in and just absolutely grabbed the football game by the throat and never let up and win the West.
One of the things Dave Vestal did with his team, because everybody who had played Perry, especially in the playoff run, had kept saying job one is to score points against him. Dave Vestal said, no, job one is to win the football game. The heck with the moral victories. He, I thought, had his team well prepared. They really pushed Perry all over the field last week.
Now, if you're a fan that loves to watch offensive line and defensive line, this is the game within a game type of chess match we're going to watch tonight. Steve, you first. Let's talk about this Hopewell offensive line. These guys hang out together. They've got great tempo. They don't make mistakes, and they're just been dynamite.
They also have a little bit of that knucklehead in them, the good kind of knucklehead. They're aggressive and impressive and really
defending the scoreboard. Is that correct? Okay, we're going to line up that way. Hopewell, put your backs over there. Strath Haven here. That's far enough. That's far enough. Okay, guys, shake hands and away we go.
That's John Shoup, the referee tonight, and there you see the Hopewell. There's Dave Vestal, the head coach at Hopewell.
But they're an enthusiastic bunch, this Hopewell offensive line, and they're big too. They do have a size advantage over Strath Haven.
Yeah, you talk about the size, the offensive line for Strath Haven, 6'3", 236, but on the other side for Hopewell, offensive line 6'1", 259 the average. You got some big beef up front, and with two teams that like to run, you've got to have people that can move people out of the way.
Well, Strath Haven comes into this game. They've got a lot of speed. Keith Davis, we're going to talk about him an awful lot, but right now, let's enjoy our national anthem. The Strath Haven Marching Band, we're delighted to have you with us here tonight on a crisp, cool Friday in December. Jed Donahue along with Steve Bowen and Gary Sutton. We're delighted to bring you exclusive live coverage of these 2002 PIAA football championships. Hard to believe this tournament, 15 years old already. And here we are with Strath Haven coming in here undefeated. Hopewell, their only loss this season Paul Posluszny did not play. A very highly regarded Newcastle team that finished 9-2 during the regular season. They ended up being shut out in that game, 18-0.
Yeah, that's not necessarily that disgraceful to lose to Newcastle, a team that was in this tournament just 4 years ago.
There's Keith Davis, number 23 for Strath Haven. He's a 4.4 40 guy, and he's got 6 touchdowns this year of 50 or more yards. He is a stick of dynamite that can go off at any time. If there's one area where Hopewell, I think, feels very good, is the kicking game. Adam Kosnick was really booming it in pregame warm-ups, their place kicker, and he could be a weapon if they can hang into the fourth quarter here.
Well, and I think both teams are wary of the other special teams because both have made big plays, especially in their playoff runs.
And we are underway. Nate Iorio knocks it around, and here comes Lenny Carter. Carter was out last week with a concussion. He's got the speed around to the 38-yard line. A pretty good return. And let's meet the Strath Haven offense. Well, Rodney Turner runs this wing tee, and they are really, really complimentary of the work he has done running this team. Lenny Carter back in the backfield. Keith Davis, they're very fast. Dan Connor, the typical bruising fullback, and a very experienced offensive line. Hargreaves, McGarity, Hunt is an outstanding center, as you would expect a team to be at 14-0. And Cresta is another veteran over there. You'll see a lot of motion with this wing tee with Strath Haven as we have our first play coming up on offense, and they'll bang Connor for about 4 as he slides across the 40 to about the 43.
Bottom of the pile for Hopewell was 14. That's Daniel DeBoard from his linebacker position.
Here's the defense. Again, the linebacker is very good. Posluszny, who's being recruited, going to Penn State as a linebacker. Iorio makes a bunch of plays. Fontana and McCrory, they feel very confident that their secondary will hold up against Strath Haven when they do throw. 2nd down and 5. This is going to be Carter trying to get to the outside. He's going to get strung out, and he's going to get dropped for a loss back at the 39-yard line. Really good pursuit defensively, and again, a good contained job that time by the Hopewell defensive core.
And that's Craig Bokar, 74, the 6'3", 260-pound junior defensive end. And one of that group that hangs and bangs together that you talked about, Jet. They're not afraid of speed, and they showed that last week. Perry may be the fastest team in the entire state, and they handled them quite well.
There's Posluszny right there, and you see him in on the tackle, and you can understand why the Penn State coaches are so excited, even though they can't comment by NCAA standards, but you know they're excited to have him coming up to State College. 3rd and 11 as Turner drops. Turner, and the ball is almost intercepted. Oh, that could have been a touchdown. Daniel DeBoard, he was thinking 6 before he caught it.
We see on the replay, good drop by Turner, but a nice break by DeBoard.
Oh, he was gone right at the 42-yard line.
It's awfully good coverage.
Impressive start for the Hopewell defense. Matt McCrory is one of the deep men for Hopewell. With it is Fontana. Little double handoff, and Lenny Carter is going to get it. There is a flag down back at the 26-yard line, and we'll see what that is here first. Well, again, the Hopewell offense, a lot of the guys that you met on defense, again, it's this offensive line. Posluszny's their leading ball carrier, but Bruce, a very underrated fullback, doesn't get much ink, but he's got over 700 yards. Carrington, Hudak, Bokar, Jonkey,
go 10 from the spot,
and Mack. And this is the key to the game for Hopewell.
Well, up front, it is
during the run back, we have an illegal block by the receiving team. It is 1st down, Hopewell.
Up front is their best chance to succeed, but you talk to Kevin Clancy, the head coach at Strath Haven. He talks as much about Fontana as anyone else in terms of containment. Fontana runs the option quite well.
Well, Fontana comes into this game running for 599 yards. He's the quarterback. Posluszny is going to get it. He's into the clear, has 10 yards, and they finally corral him at the 31-yard line. And again, a good thrust by that offensive line for Hopewell. Here's the Strath Haven defense. Jim Rowland, he makes a bunch of plays but doesn't get much publicity. Sam McGarity will call his name all night long, and a quick and active and playmaking secondary led by Davis, Atkinson, Carter, and Quentin Brown is a sticky cover guy as well. And there's Dan Connor playing that middle linebacker spot. 1st and 10 now for Hopewell, and we got movement on that offensive line that time. And this is going to be a 5-yard penalty here against the Vikings.
Jason Curitan pulled up out of his position that time, number 51, and it's going to be 5 yards against Hopewell.
Dead ball, false start, offense, still 1st down.
Got to remember, this is Hopewell's first time here, and there's something to be said for playing here a lot. 4 straight times for Strath Haven. Obviously, the experience factor on their side.
And last Friday in the Eastern Final in their 38-13 win against Lower Dauphin, a game they were never threatened. This is Mike Bruce, the fullback, and he just pounds it out to the 30-yard line. Well, there's nothing fancy about what we're going to see tonight, is there, with Hopewell?
I believe if you can spell Smash Mouth, you could pretty much do the game plans for either of these teams. Now, there isn't anything fancy, and yet both coaching staffs mentioned they have to be wary of the occasional pass because it's not like either team doesn't pass at all. I mean, Turner passed for over 1,000 yards this year.
What you do see here is the offensive guard, number 74, Craig Bocor, doing a lot of pulling tonight. He'll jump in behind, really help to open up some big holes that left side.
Fontana pitching it out. This is Pozlowski, and again, that speed defensively for Strath Haven strings it out after a gain of 1. McGarity and Carter are in on the stop for the Panthers.
Excellent pursuit by McGarity. You'll see him come in right there. That's
Lenny Carter as well. He's only a sophomore. He'll be one of the most highly sought after recruits 2 years from now.
And Carter playing tonight makes a big difference in this defense, I think, more than the offense, because it allows them to pursue and allows the linebackers, I think, a little bit more leeway because they know they've got a solid speed guy back there.
3rd and 10. They give it off for Bruce, the fullback, and he jumps it across the 35 to about the 37. He's short of a 1st down. And they're going to be forced to punt. It's going to be 4th and about 3 upcoming now for Hopewell.
Connor and Rowland in on the tackle that time for Strath Haven.
Well, there's the balance you get. They're not much in the air. I mean, that's no secret, but they can do enough. And if they get the lead on you, and that's the key to this game really for either of these teams, forget about it, especially if it's more than 2 scores. So Strath Haven looking at pretty good field position coming back, pending the outcome of the punt. Keith Davis going to let it drop, and it's going to get down at about the 30-yard line. 143 cable systems representing 3 million homes and 9 million state residents. That's today's television audience for the Pennsylvania AAA final here in PIAA football playoffs. A big hello to all the family, friends, and fans in the Commonwealth associated with this high school championship. Well, both teams have had a feeling out process on that opening series. We have 9 minutes exactly to go. Everybody huddled up, but it is comfortable. The wind is somewhat nominal. We'll be visiting with Mike Conti throughout the night. They'll bang Connor, and Connor wiggles forward to about the 35-yard line, running behind McGarity up front. And he's got about 3 or 4 yards, and it'll be 2nd down and about 7 coming up. Say, make it 3 officially.
See Bocor in on the tackle, 74. He's active offensively and defensively.
Bocor, what, 6'3", 260, only a junior? This is Davis, got a 1st down, and they finally bring him down to the 44-yard line. Potentially a touchdown-saving tackle there by Fontana of Hopewell.
You're going to see a lot of trap blocking. Your number 70 pulls this time, pulling blocker. Watch, he'll come off to your side, open up the hole right there, and he just slides right on through. All he needs is just a little bit of a sliver, and he's into the secondary.
There was nothing but real estate behind Fontana. And again, Davis at 4'4" is gone if he doesn't make this play right there. Going to be Davis again, trying to pick his way forward. Not much there. Again, Bocor in on the stop. Steve, you said he is something else. Boy, he is as advertised.
He is probably the emotional leader on the defense more so than on the offense. He doesn't show it a whole lot, but according to the coaching staff, he's awfully vocal in the huddle.
Because Carmen Gentile was pulling out that time, and Bokar just slid right around him and made the play. Atkinson goes in motion. Here comes Connor. Connor works his way to about the 49, only a gain of 2. It's going to be 3rd down. Let's call it 6 upcoming now for Strath Haven.
It's interesting that on the last couple of successful runs by Strath Haven, they've cut back against the pursuit, and that was something that what little success Perry had last week. They had success doing that against Hopewell.
Fast-moving first quarter, as you'd expect. We've only seen 1 pass thrown so far. That was almost intercepted by DeBoer. 3rd and 6 for Strath Haven as Turner drops, looks, throws, and falling down. Looks to be Quentin Brown over at the 45-yard line, and Strath Haven's going to be forced to punt. Well, this is a rare occurrence. Back-to-back punts for Strath Haven. You don't see that often. They've been a point-a-minute machine all year long.
For Brown, what might have been just getting out there, the field's been in great shape all night long, just getting out and kind of getting his feet tied up that time.
Fontana and McCrory will drop back. And it's going to be McCrory. And this time they're going to send Fontana on the handoff, and pretty good coverage down at the 23-yard line for Strath Haven that time. And the tackle is going to get made by Chris Donnelly, a 5'11 junior. Let's head down to Mike Conti and visit with him. Mike? Fontana, handoff Bruce. Not much there as he gets to about the 27-yard line, a gain of 3.
We talked in the first game, the Class A game, that it was a little easier for Southern Columbia to focus on one running back. It seems that that's what Strath Haven is trying to do with Pusluzny, and they're getting a good dose of Bruce here in the first quarter, and I think that's a good move on Dave Vestal's part, because Bruce is a quality fullback.
Pusluzny going to try and get to the outside, and does to a certain extent, to about the 30-yard line, and only ended up with 4 yards.
What you're seeing right now, 9 guys at the block defensively for Strath Haven, and you take a look at it, we'll see it right here, 9 people pursuing constantly on the line of scrimmage. There's really no place to go right now. You almost think they're going to have to pass a little bit to loosen things up.
How about Connor making that play at the end, just kind of slides over. He's only a junior. Pitt and Penn State have offered. Many believe that Penn State would be the leader. It's really his decision. Probably the last thing on his mind right at the second. Fontana is going to get swallowed at the 27-yard line.
There's Hargreaves in on the stop. Big job. You'll see he just slides off the block right there, and Fontana was looking to run a little delay or quarterback draw, and Hargreaves busted that up.
He's 6'4", 265, with an explosive first step, and that time creates 4th and 6. And again, Strath Haven looking to get the ball back towards midfield.
It's away.
McCrory. This is going to be Lenny Carter. Carter starting it back the other way, gets it over to the Hopewell 47-yard line. Return of 9 for Strath Haven, and here come the Panthers back on offense. They have done nothing so far.
So far, just a field position game, and now for Strath Haven, they've got pretty good field position on the exchange. There you see Kevin Clancy of Strath Haven. What a record he has. 58 of the last 59 games they've won. The last loss was to West Allegheny here last year.
Saw Bob Palco up here in the press box, the head coach of West Allegheny. Here's Connor, and there's not much there. Pusluzny in on the stop. He shot through the gap and made the play. I believe it was him.
Speaking of Bob Palco, Dave Vestal had him in to talk to his team on Thanksgiving, a little bit about what it's like to get to this particular point in the season. Certainly maybe helped to pay off a little bit here. Hopewell is playing for a state championship, the first in the history of the school.
Let's give Terry Johnke credit for that. He's the one that 52 over there, and also Grant Nelson for Hopewell, only a yard for Connor. Came in averaging over 7 yards a carry. He's finding the real estate tough to come by. Turner back. Turner with time. Throwing Carter. He's open. Carter 15. Foot race and tackled from behind to the 10-yard line. A gain of 37. And Strath Haven's got the first big scoring opportunity of the football game.
Saw the man-to-man coverage that time. You're going to see Carter come down here on the far side. He's going to make the cut in, and you're going to see him right down here catching the football. Carter with a beautiful down and in pattern and gets the nice pass. Great field position for Strath Haven, and they're knocking at the door. And
McCrory saves a touchdown, and again, loading the box. They go to the air that time, and Turner is really good throwing the football when given the opportunity. First and goal to go at the 10. Here's Keith Davis. Nothing there. He lost a couple. Boy, Hopewell really comes after that run.
The lateral pursuit along the line of scrimmage is just outstanding. They just continue to fill in hole after hole after hole, which is exactly the way you want to draw it up if you're a coach.
That's
Watch.
Grant Nelson here.
Yeah, here comes Nelson.
Also Nate Iorio, 44 over there for Hopewell. 3:10 left here in the third quarter. A loss of 1 at second down and goal from the 11-yard line now for Strath Haven. After the 37-yard catch by Carter, here's Turner rolling, looking. He can run as well. Finds the going tough, does get it inside the 10 to about the 9. Well, Strath Haven came in with a lot of reputation here as we look at Turner. Again, he's deft on his feet. He hasn't had to do this a whole lot this year.
It's a good hustle play by 14 DeBoard. He wasn't going to make the tackle, but he gets in on second effort. See it right there. It causes Turner to stop a little bit and allow everybody else to come in.
One heck of a hole closed down in the hurry.
3rd and 8 from the 9. They get a first down to the 1. Double handoff. This is going to be Davis looking for a block. It's just not there. And Hopewell just really got after. And as Hopewell coming into this game intimidated, playing a team making their 4th consecutive PIAA championship, we asked that question before the game of head coach Dave Vestal.
We're very focused. We're you know, business-like this week. We had a great week of practice, and you know, Strath Haven has such a tremendous football program. They have been here a bunch, but you know, this is a big game, but we're just focused.
On to kick is Chris Donnelly. Donnelly's going to try about a 26-yard field goal out of a Rodney Turner hold. 1:35 left here. The snap is down. The kick is away, and it is good. Strath Haven is on the board with a field goal, but still a pretty good effort defensively by Hopewell to really hold Strath Haven to 50 cents on the dollar there.
2 keys, I think, on that drive. The first one was on the 37-yard pass play. Not a tremendous play fake, but good enough by Turner to buy himself some time. I didn't think that they'd shown that before. It didn't work the last 3 times he tried the little play fake. Good adjustment by Hopewell to hold Strath Haven when they were down there 1st and goal.
You just really sense that even though these teams only average 5 and 6 passes on either side, the team that passes the ball tonight is going to win this game, because really the 2 lines are just absolutely so evenly matched. No movement at all on either side.
Well, I'm so impressed with Hopewell's defensive front.
Yep. Well,
what they've been able to accomplish here.
I think the other interesting thing is that both teams are going against form a little bit by not necessarily featuring their big stud backs and showing Bruce and Davis a little bit more. Bruce and Carter as well.
Short kick, and Hopewell's going to drag it to about the 33-yard line.
It's state history in the making, the year 2002 PIAA Class AAA Football Championship, televised across the Commonwealth on the state leader for scholastic sports programming, PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, Pennsylvania's championship network.
There's a number. What do you think about the exclusive coverage of not only the PIAA football championships, but Pennsylvania's championship network? They are all at all of the PIAA championships. I know, Gary, you just did soccer and all kinds of things. Here's Peluzny. He's got a big hole to the 40-yard line, a gain of 7.
So great for kids around the state of Pennsylvania to have this chance to be highlighted out there with soccer, volleyball, all the other various sports we're doing. As you see, again, just diving through the middle here. Hopewell trying to open up some holes in that big Strath Haven line.
He's been their meal ticket all year long. Hopewell making their first ever trip here to the PIAA state championships. The WPIL, for the 5th time in the history of the tournament, has all 4 classes represented. Peluzny has 5, has 10, banging around all the way to the Strath Haven 40-yard line. It has ripped off 20 without any problem at all.
And that's pretty much the poster child run of Paul Peluzny all season long.
How about Mike Bruce with that seal in right there, the fullback, to spring him?
But it's not particularly fancy. The holes there, he hits it quickly, and he's not afraid to challenge anybody that comes in his way. You see it here. This is a little cut, but also more of a dip of the shoulder. You like to see that when your big back is out in open space.
Peluzny off to a good start here in this opening quarter. Here comes Mike Bruce. Bruce chews it up for about 3 or 4 to about the 36-yard line, and that should be the final play here of this first quarter.
Just straight up blocky this time, nothing fancy, as Bruce just basically pushes ahead.
Real nice job there by the center, number 50, Mike Mack.
Also Mike Hudak. Mack's one of their inspirational leaders.
Yep.
That'll be the end of the first quarter of play, and a 26-yard field goal by Donnelly is all the scoring we have, but Hopewell with a pretty good-looking drive underway. And this will afford us the opportunity to go visit with Mike Conti, trying to stay warm on that sideline. But getting this field ready, we had 6 to 8 inches of snow here in Hershey in the south central quarter of Pennsylvania yesterday. And they did a great job working into the wee hours this morning to make it ready for these 2002 championships. Let's go to Mike Conti right now and find out how they got that job done. Mike?
And Jed, I am joined by someone who is an important piece of the Hershey puzzle here, and someone who actually helped shovel out the stadium last night. It's Scott Newcomb, the chairman of the board of Hershey Sports and Entertainment. Scott, how late were you out here last night?
Well, the crew was here about 10 o'clock last night. It was a real team effort, I will tell you. We had people from just about every division of the company helping out here last night.
This has to be an exciting time for Hershey. Obviously, the football championships this week. The Giants Center is now open. Basketball and wrestling coming up there in a couple of months. This is a big time for Hershey.
It absolutely is. I'll tell you, with Candy Lane opening up, a little bit of snow from Mother Nature just makes it a nicer experience, and it really speaks of Hershey as a destination.
Congratulations to you and your crew for getting the stadium in playing condition.
Well, as I said, it's a great team effort, and it speaks of our whole company. We're very proud of everybody.
Scott Newcomb of Hershey Sports and Entertainment. Back up to you, Jed.
All right, thank you, Mike. Opening play, this is going to be Peluzny, picks his way, stays outside, inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. And a gain of 9.
What we saw that time, we'll see if we can show you a little bit here. Watch, by the time he gets to the line has pushed the defense of Strath Haven back about 4 yards. So he's got plenty of running room coming through.
That little stutter gives him a little bit more vision.
Peluzny with 48 yards in the first quarter. Connor had 4 carries for 11 yards. Hopewell with 61 yards in the first quarter compared to Strath Haven with 56 yards. Strath Haven up, though, 3-0 as we enter into the second quarter.
Bruce this time. Bruce powers his way inside the 20, all the way to the 18-yard line. A gain of 7 more.
I don't know if we can get a picture of it here. I'm going to try to illustrate a little bit. Fokor pushing out. Let's see if we can look at it right here. Watch Fokor on the left side, number 74, and you'll see the hole that he opens up. Go ahead as we push left here. And there's Fokor right there, just pushing out on this far side. Look at the hole that he opens right in behind. Peluzny able to get right on through.
Well, you like the way Bruce squared his shoulders, too. Watch right here. When he hits the hole, his shoulders are square. He's going straight ahead. It's the way he knows how to run and the way he's most successful.
Taking on Dan Connor that time. Positive yardage to about the 13-yard line.
I think he's got enough for the first down. Yep.
Well, coming into this game, Kevin Clancy had concerns. And what was his main concern about Hopewell? Well, we asked him before the game. Here he is.
They're a big physical football team. They have an outstanding quarterback who has a knack for making plays, which I think you need to have at this point in time of the season. And, of course, the fullback linebacker, Patuzzi, is an outstanding player.
Don't worry, Coach. We didn't find out how to pronounce it either until a couple hours before kickoff. We're not from out that way, but that was a good player, period. Yes. Great player. And again, one of two Penn State players that we'll see, future players. Austin Scott tomorrow night from Parkland, and this young man, well, that's Mike Bruce right there, but Lusney. So right now they're looking at 2nd down and 7, the ball at the 11-yard line. We've got 10 minutes to go here in the second quarter, and Strath Haven is on the lead here 3-0. But Hopewell is definitely threatening.
And you're seeing that offensive line now of Hopewell really starting to take control there of the line of scrimmage, pushing Strath Haven off a yard or two every time before the running back hits the line.
Has Lusney with it. Gets to the outside, cuts it in, close to a first down, probably has it inside the 10 to the 5 to about the 3, and now a flag. Nope, that was a ball. My mistake.
Let's take a look at it here if we can with the telestrator. Watch the outside, the off-tackle play. So important to get blocking, and you'll see it right there. Gets to the outside around the corner, and he's free for a big gain.
You know what impresses me is he just stays in there and doesn't really worry what's around him. He'll just kind of pick where his best spot is.
Nice block there, too. It wasn't a great block, but a good effective block by McCrory, the wide receiver.
First and goal at the 3. This is Lusney, walks in, touchdown. Impressive drive by Hopewell. They're on the lead for the first time. 6-3 Vikings.
Let's take a look here again, and we'll show you what we're talking about. This offensive line really assumed control in this series. And watch what happens when Lusney gets to the line. Every time he's getting to the line, and by the time he gets to here, people are already back. He's got an easy job just running into the end zone, guys.
He just doesn't panic at the line of scrimmage and just kind of picks his spot on where to go.
And if you're gonna hitch your wagon to a big old behind when you're 2 yards away, 74 is not a bad behind to hook your wagon to, as he did right there.
Bokar at 6'3", 260, is really kicking it. Got a flag down. And let's see.
Dead ball, false start, offense, repeat try 1 time.
So this is a tricky extra point, although we mentioned the range of Kosnick rather.
Comes a 25-yard extra point. Who's the last left-footed kicker that we've seen?
It's been a while.
Carroll, your premier?
Snap is down, the kick. Wow, he just rifled that right through there. That wasn't any issue at all, was it? Hopewell grabs the lead, 7-3 with 9:27 remaining here in the second quarter of play. Impressive drive. And let's see the touchdown run again. And boy, they just sealed that, and Lusney just kind of walked right through there.
Well, what you saw was a great double team on Connor by Curitan, and also number 74, Craig Boker. And when those two guys double team you, you've been double teamed and taken out of the play, and Connor never had a chance to get involved.
Let's go down to Mike Conte and see what Mike has for us. Mike?
Well, that was a Hopewell drive and an offense constructed by a rocket scientist. I mean that literally. Hopewell coach Dave Vestal, I guess you could call him a rocket scientist. He holds double degrees from the University of Miami in Ohio in aeronautics and physics. He studied aeronautical engineering at the University of Cincinnati. In the process of earning that degree, had a change of heart and said, I want to go and coach. He went to Youngstown State then, picked up his coaching certification, his teaching certification, and he is one of the younger coaches in state championship history on the sideline tonight. But I guess you could also call him a rocket scientist.
Well, when you come from Miami of Ohio, that's the cradle of coaches with Aaron Parsegian, Woody Hayes, Bo Schembechler, Wee Bubeck, Paul Brown.
But if you're
John
an aeronautical
Punt.
engineer, why aren't you passing more?
Because
the running game looked pretty darn good.
Because he went 67 yards in 9 plays, never had a third down play in the drive.
Thank you very much.
That's an impressive
Yes.
drive.
That is a live ball. Anybody's guess at the 37-yard line. Hopewell, I think, got on it. on a cold night that just hit the wickets, and it turned out to be a live situation, and Hopewell does get it. Big turnover here.
13, Jason Bystry was the first one in.
Well, look at this. A cold night, it's flat, it comes right off the knee.
Chuck Hagan couldn't handle it.
And that was a set. I mean, right there, you're saying, okay, we know it's a cold night. We know it's tough to handle. We know the ball's going to take some weird bounces, and you come up with a big turnover. The big swing of momentum swings over to the Vikings side now as they take over 1st and 10 at the Strath Haven 37. As Lusney running wide, needs a block, stays patient and gets something out of nothing to about the 34. Amazing, he got 3 out of that.
Yeah, because it was an awfully good defensive play.
Let's take a look up.
Number 50 in there for Strath Haven.
And Grant Nelson,
Rob Hunt.
Yeah, Grant Nelson, number 82, managed to push a man up out of the way and get him an opening on that left side. And there's someone that doesn't care a whole lot about the game. Just give me a little chance to skate, Mom.
All right, now it's Hopewell skating downhill on the running game. And 2nd down and 8, the ball at the 35. They'll run Mike Bruce up the middle, and he's got positive yardage, and he slams it inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. He's close to a 1st down. He might be about a yard shy.
Really nice thing on that play, and really the last 4 running plays are carrying out the fakes by Fontana. He's got over 600 yards rushing and 8 rushing touchdowns on the season. I wouldn't be surprised to see, and I'm sure that Strath Haven wouldn't be surprised to see Fontana on the option sooner or later because they're setting it up beautifully.
I think we're seeing that 20-pound average on the line, though, starting to pay off. I'm continuing to see Bruce getting to the line, and no one's there. They're 2 yards ahead.
Well, they're playing with a lot of bounce and tempo. Not this time as they sniff out Peslusny with a loss to the 30. Dave Peck got him for Strath Haven. Peck at 6'5", really is good on both sides of the football. I'm not sure if I like him at tight end or on defense more, but this is bang bang right here.
Yep.
And you saw Nick Crest in there as well. Wow. I mean, just mano a mano right on that line.
4th and 3. First 4th down play of the football game. As Strath Haven trying to dodge a bullet, fumbling the kickoff, and flags are down. Let's see what this is all about.
Double movement looks like. It's going to be an illegal shift.
Go ahead, Bobby.
Well, our microphones that we have here, you get a little advance warning. Here it is.
Dead ball. Ball start. Offense. Repeat. 4th down.
Talk about Peslusny so far here in the first half, Jed. 11 carries, 74 yards. By the way, that was the 3rd penalty so far against Hopewell.
And a costly one because 4th and 3 turns into 4th and 8, and I think they're just going to kick it away and play some field position.
Yeah, not a bad way to go because you can do a lot of things with this short field on the kick, and it's going to neutralize some of the speed that Strath Haven's got back there with 23, Keith Davis.
Lenny Carter. Fair catches at the 15-yard line. Well, Strath Haven, Wallingford, Pennsylvania. Give you a perspective as to where it is. It's about 2.5 hours from here. It's in Delaware County, Philadelphia area. And they have been one of the storied programs in District 1. We mentioned this is their 4th consecutive trip to the gold medal game. Lost last year, 28-13, and that's their only loss in the last 4 years. As you look at Rodney Turner, the Strath Haven coaches have raved about how he runs this wing tee. We've already seen him throw the ball pretty well. Here's Keith Davis coming the other way. But again, that Hopewell defense getting after it. And Hopewell, they made a journey here to Hershey, Chocolate Town. They're in Beaver County, Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. Home, this high school's got ties to one of the all-time great names in Pennsylvania high school history, right? Tony Dorsett?
Oh, absolutely.
Dorsett at the time.
Tony Dorsett at the time. I was trying to think who I knew that was famous that went to
And do they not play in Dorset Stadium?
Yes, they do.
About that? Yeah.
Yes, they do.
6:55 remaining in the 2nd, as you can see. Gain of 3 for Davis. Here's Lenny Carter trying this defensive front for maybe a yard. I'll tell you what, we'll isolate these lines a little bit for you, but Hopewell is as advertised from what I've seen in the first half. Haven't seen him live,
Yeah.
saw him in the WPIAL championship on television,
Yeah.
but boy, you really get a perspective here.
Absolutely, and we see him bottling up Carter there. A lot of people watching this game who watch high school football all over the state are very familiar with wing T football. Wing T with some speed's a whole lot more fun.
3rd and 6. Quick handoff. I think this is Davis.
Yep, and he's
to
short.
about the 24, and he didn't even get there close. Kozlowski in on the stop,
Also Mike Mack.
who's been all over the place. Mack, 6'3", 225-pound senior for Hopewell. There he is.
Nice job fighting off the blocks.
Love to watch the discipline when these guys hold their positions defensively in that double inside handoff.
Well, Strath Haven, again, they've had that one deep penetration on the big pass play, but that's it.
Got to say, Hopewell has taken over both sides of the line of scrimmage now along that line of scrimmage. They are really, really dominating.
Hopewell looking at pretty good field position coming back. Just does get that out of there. Fontana. This is McCrory. Cuts it up the middle. Pretty good decision. He's still cooking all the way to the Strath Haven 39-yard line. And a gain of 12 on the return. And Hopewell's in great shape.
It didn't look like such a good decision when he first made the cut, but all of a sudden everyone went past him. We'll see it here. Right about here, the decision to cut up is like, uh-oh, and now everything opens up.
Scholastic sports fans, you're going to love the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Starting in January, PCN presents an entire winter season of high school hoops and grappling action with a PCN Game of the Week basketball airing on Friday nights and the PCN Match of the Week wrestling slated for Saturday. Right now, Hopewell wrestling with a lead as they send Kozlowski. Cuts it back. Can he stay alive? No. Wow. Lost yardage to the 43. If he stays on his feet, it would have really been interesting.
Wow.
Dave Peck just does get him. There's Dave Peck right there. Penn State has been looking around. He's only a junior. He's coming back for what looks to be a loaded group next year, but let's look at this again. If he stays on his feet here, guys, he could really make this interesting.
Yeah, this is a shoestring away from interesting. I think might be understatement.
Literally a shoestring.
How about the left corner and maybe a touchdown? Here comes Kozlowski on a quick handoff, and there's just nothing doing there. Strath Haven's just got a little bit too much speed to be doing east-west stuff with.
Well, that's also one of the bread and butter plays that Hopewell has, and it's bringing Kozlowski in motion. He'll set up on the right side of the line. I think there's good scouting in there on that play, and a nice tackle by McGarity. How about the size of these Strath Haven linebackers, though?
Well, McGarity runs really well. He had a brother, Owen McGarity, who was a tight end here over the last couple of years in the state championship game. He had a fabulous Eastern final last week, 6'3", 215-pound junior. He's still growing and getting better.
Yeah, how about he, Peck, and Connor all coming back? They're going to be tough to run against next year.
3rd and 16 for Hopewell, and they're going to talk about it with 3:55 left. And while they're talking about it, why don't we visit with Mike Conti? Mike?
Paul Posnuzli, Jed, is a real team-oriented fellow. He had a lot of scholarship offers heading into this year and probably could have had a very interesting recruiting process over the months, including the football season, September, October, November, and December. He decided, though, to make a verbal commitment to Penn State before the season even began. His reason? He didn't want to be a distraction to the team and have the recruiting process distract the team. Penn State is looking at him to be a linebacker, but I got to tell you guys, watching him run tonight, Joe Paterno may want to think about using him as a running back.
Well, you never know. They can change their mind up there, but that's their decision to make. But they've got a special player, and we'll see another one tomorrow night in Austin. Scott, let's talk about tomorrow's schedule here. We've already seen Southern Columbia today with an impressive 31-6 win against Rochester. Right now, we've got 7-3 Hopewell. And tomorrow at noon, Mount Carmel. It's an even-numbered year. They're back. They started to run in 1994 against Forest Hills in double overtime. They go tomorrow against Seton LaSalle.
Might be the only time in that game that we can talk about run, because it's going to be a passing fancy tomorrow in the double-A game. Dave Schnitzky for Mount Carmel and Anthony Doria for Seton LaSalle.
Back to live action as they run to Mike Bruce. And then the evening session, dinner time. Dinner and PIAA championships. Not a bad matchup at 5 either. Woodland Hills, the #3 team nationally, and there's Chris Morgan in our graphic. 302 yards last week in their win over Altoona, and then Parkland comes in here with Austin Scott.
And Woodland Hills looking forward to trying to make some joy in Mudville, as they remember this stadium last year when it was rainy and muddy, and Austin Scott over 3,600 yards this year, 49 touchdowns. Unbelievable matchup tomorrow night.
Strath Haven clamping down defensively. They're going to get it back. Short kick by McCrory that goes out of bounds. And Strath Haven goes on offense, where they've moved the ball only 1 series in this game in the first half.
Talking about Morgan and Scott tomorrow night, I was talking to Kevin Gorman of the Pittsburgh Tribune Review today. He said he did a story on Morgan, and he said, you know, Dan, you've had a great, or Chris, you've had a great season. School record for yardage, over 1,800 yards. School record for touchdowns, 22. Says the guy on the other side has doubled both of those figures. He said Morgan's jaw dropped just a little bit. Then he said, well, we'll see what happens Saturday.
1st and 10, Strath Haven. Turner back. Turner going to throw, looking Davis, and not even his speed can run that throw down. Pretty good coverage, though, downfield that time from DeBoard, and got some help, too, from McMillan.
It shows you a little arm on this, about 50 yards as he airs it out. Sets up very nicely, stays in the pocket, and just unloads, but just about 5 yards too long on this fly pattern.
You got to like the call, though, because it goes a little bit against form. They've had some success. Well, they had one success throwing the football, and they were looking for it again. They do have speed in their favor. They're getting beat up front, but they still have that speed advantage at the wideouts. And if you connect on something like that, that changes the tide of this game.
Plus, they've established nothing so far on the line of scrimmage, as you see right there again. And I think not frustration, but trying again to loosen up that defense on the other side in a different way.
Sure.
As Connor found absolutely nothing there. And again, that's Terry Johnke, 5'9", but he's 260 pounds.
Think anybody's paying attention to Mr. Connor back there? Made a lot of friends right away. 5 people converged on him quickly.
This front group for Hopewell likes to make friends that way, believe me. They're a friendly bunch.
3rd and 10 now for Strath Haven as Turner drops. Blitz is coming. Turner stays in there looking for Carter. And again, great coverage. Fontana with him step for step. Fans over on our side with the Strath Haven, where our broadcast vantage point thought it was interference. The Hopewell people said great non-call. I tend to agree with where the Hopewell people are.
What a great job picking up the blitz, too, as they had good man-to-man coverage on the outside. And Fontana says nothing going here tonight.
Not even near interference from the looks.
Right there is what they're talking about, where they're mixing it up a little bit back there, about halfway down.
I'm more of a jury that gives the defensive backs a little bit of a break sometimes on plays like that. Pretty good kick. This will be McCrory. And again, good field position, really good field position. Develops to the 37-yard line.
Wow.
And a return of 20 by McCrory.
Outstanding block by 14 DeBoard to really spring him. You'll see it coming up just to the left side of the screen here.
Let's take a look at it right here.
Right there. That's an outstanding seal against the speed guy from Strath Haven. And again, a good north-south run by McCrory.
There's a block you're talking about right there. Not just finding the holes. You love a guy that just wants to go north-south, doesn't want to juke around and play around, just head for the goalpost.
Now an opportunity maybe to get more points. Here's Kozlowski, gets through 1 tackle, has 5, close to 10. Officially about 9 to about the 29-yard line.
Watch Kozlowski set up McGarity this time. He's going to give him an inside shoulder and then take it away right along here. Now watch what he does. There's McGarity, and then steps to the outside. McGarity can't quite bring him down, and Kozlowski's off to the races.
Well, and makes that cut with power, too. That's an impressive run.
Look at him plant that left foot, and then hard cut right there.
Yep. Boom.
Well, you're not going to arm tackle him, and McGarity just found that out. Forget about it. Fontana, flag is down as he drops to pass for the first time.
The receiver coming in.
It's more of a running threat. No, but he is going to throw it on the run. Intercepted by Connor. Connor works it back the other way, and they put him down at the 27-yard line, but there are flags all over the field here.
It's going to be a shift against the receiver in motion coming towards this side of the field, and this turnover is going to hold.
You're going to see a big decline coming up right here by Strath Haven.
Well, in the last 2 games, Fontana's completed just 2 passes and has thrown 2 interceptions. But they do not make their living in the air, and this is one of the reasons why. But Fontana has had a marvelous year, but again, tough to throw that ball into triple coverage. Here's the play. Let's go to the field.
Illegal motion against the offense. That penalty is declined. It's first down, Strath Haven.
With 1:19 to go here in the first half, Strath Haven with 3 timeouts to work with.
Playing a zone that time, too, and a nice job back there. But the big guy, Connor, picking it up in the zone and reading it.
Even though, I'm sorry, guys, even though they run the wing T, they certainly know how to run a 2-minute drill. We saw them in a state championship a couple of years ago with Mike Connor and Josh Hannum doing it as Turner drops. Turner not much open downfield, and again now he throws and it's caught. He's got Quentin Brown to the 40-yard line. Big gainer there.
Turner set that up by faking the run, pulled back at the last moment, kept good presence. Now watch this. He comes over, he looks like he's going to run around the corner, freezes the linebacker, freezes the receiver out there, takes 1 step back and opens up his man on the outside for this pass.
33 yards, and there's Quentin Brown.
And does a nice job when he steps back, because I think he thinks, like most of us thought, that his momentum was going to carry him over the line of scrimmage. He stopped about 1 yard shy and stepped back, and a nice toss on the run.
Quentin Brown, 18 receptions in the season, 295 yards and a TD, but a big one right there. But give credit to the quarterback, Rodney Turner, for really keeping a good presence, making that move that froze everyone for a moment and just long enough to get it to his receiver.
I'd also like to thank PASportsFever.com for a lot of the statistical information and background information that we've been using. You can find out a lot more. Again, PASportsFever.com. Gordon Blaine and the whole gang over there have provided us with some things to use throughout this telecast, which certainly has helped us make our job easier. Well, Quentin Brown, that's his, I believe, 18th catch of the year. Looking at it here, looking.
19th catch of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. And a big one, 33 yards and a first down to the Hopewell 40-yard line.
Well, that time Turner made the decision that I think maybe Fontana wishes he'd made on the interception, and that's looking to run first and then finding someone open. Fontana just wanted to pass.
Here's Davis looking for yards after the catch, has plenty of them, and gets out of bounds after he rips off 15. Well, that's what speed will do for you, and they put it into space this time. This is a great call. Davis, a 4.4 40 guy. This is Yak, yards after the catch personified.
And again, you're seeing zone. Now watch this. Stop right there, and let's take a look. You're seeing zone out there. That means there's a good 5-6 yards in front of you. You're going to pick up right away, and you've got a running back who's out there running lots of space before he's ever going to hit anybody.
They're in long field goal range. I don't know if Kevin Clancy's real comfortable with where he's at right now with Chris Donnelly, but they could do it in a pinch. Still 1:03 and 2 timeouts left. And they'll run John Durnell for the first time to the 23-yard line. Durnell has been one of those kind of super subs for him, like a 6th man in basketball, a 5'11 senior. They'll run some no huddle right now. 47, 46, and you see the clock. Turner back, Turner throws, got a man. It's Brown again inside the 20, and it'll be 3rd and short upcoming.
Good possession pass, the down and out. I don't think Strath Haven can run the ball and win this football game. I think they're going to have to beat them through the air.
I was about to say, when all the line has to do is stand up and hold their ground, they're doing a nice job in pass protection. When they have to force the issue a little bit, they're losing the war.
Plus Hopewell stepping up and getting a lot of room to make those short passes. I think you could really do a lot of possession passing right now if you're Strath Haven. There it is.
Here comes the blitz, intercepted by Bokar. What a huge play by Bokar as he just snaps it out of the air at point-blank range. 1st and 10, Hopewell at the 26, and Strath Haven is turned away.
Well, then again, maybe not. Watch this here. Bokar steps right up. Hey, the big guy shows you something there. Reaches out with the left hand, pulls it in. And he just scouted it out. He was all ready for that play. As soon as he saw the head turn right, he stepped out. Look right here. Bokar steps right out, pulls in the left hand, and he's heading downfield before he's tackled very quickly. But great play by the big guy.
That is a great play by Bokar right there. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that's his first interception of the year, but what hands?
It's probably his first one-handed interception. I'm not sure about the others, but a great athletic play by a big guy, but it all started with his head.
What a huge momentum turner for the moment, too.
There's Kozlowski, and they drag him out of bounds to stop the clock with 31 seconds left in the first half.
You got to think right now, Jed, they're going to be really happy to walk in with a 7-3 lead here at the half. You don't want to play around with the ball back there too much. I suppose Leslie takes it to the near side, just basically steps out of bounds.
We heard Matt Conti talk about both teams have only given up 99 points on the season. Strath Haven scores 39.5. Hopewell only scores 24.5. So, Jed, I think nail on the head with the real happy going in 7-3.
So 31 seconds remaining here in the first half. They'll run Bruce, the fullback, pretty safe play, and that should just about do it. And that will be the final play of the half. And there's Dan Connor. We don't have somebody keeping track of tackles, but he's got to be around that 8 or 9 tackle mark. And Strath Haven is going to call timeout. They want him to handle it maybe one more time. 19 seconds remaining here in the second quarter of play. Let's visit with Mike Conti before the break one last time. Mike?
Well, it's important to point out, you mentioned the field goal possibility, Jed. Strath Haven's kickers were out here practicing, I'd say, a good 2 hours before the game started tonight. They were making field goals from about the 25-yard line. So if Strath Haven can get the ball back, maybe advance the ball up to the 25, you could get a late field goal attempt here, but the lack of timeouts will certainly hurt them, and they need to make a third down stop.
Well, it's been that 3 yards in a cloud of dust type stuff we thought it would be, although I think Strath Haven is going to have to open up in the air because it's available to them there.
Yeah, absolutely. And this might be an opportunity to run that option pitch with Fontana because they've got the open side of the field. It'll eat up some time, and, you know, they might be able to break it because they've been faking it very well.
I would be surprised to see Fontana keep this one, but instead he hands off, and it's going to be the last play of the half.
As Losney with it, unless Strath Haven wants him to punt, which is what I think the goal is going to be. And Strath Haven is going to make them punt.
Probably why neither Gary or I are coaches. It's for our play calling ability. I should say anymore.
Well, I just like the idea of taking the ball right there, freezing it out a little bit, running a little bit if you're the quarterback. Now you got 14 seconds to go. Now you got a play that has a little bit of a, some possibilities here if you're Strath Haven. I suspect Strath Haven.
I like that Viking guy out there, man. He's kind of lonely. Everybody says, nope, not going to stand by the snow pile with you tonight. There's Christmas in Hershey. That's what this is all about here, Chocolatetown, USA. And we're very pleased to see the American flag still tonight. Not windy. It gets cold in here.
I'll tell you, the bravest people tonight are the fans out here, the people over at Candy Lane. You've got to really be tough over there.
There are people riding there. Right now, 7-3 with 14 seconds remaining in the first half. How simple is that? Just get that ball out of there. And here's Keith Davis with it. Step around, trying to stay alive. And Hopewell, pretty good coverage, but a good return by Davis to the 41. 3 seconds remaining in the first half.
It's really one of the first indications on, watch this cut right here, that we've seen a little bit of effect of the cold weather freezing pretty much the top inch or so of the surface. But for the most part, outstanding job and great field conditions in what has been 2 very cold days and one pretty snowy one yesterday.
We expect good weather here tomorrow if you're coming down from Mount Carmel and Seton LaSalle and Parkland.
Shorts.
Going up against Woodland Hills. I wouldn't call it sunscreen, but temperatures are expected to be in the low 40s. They'll bang Connor to end the half, and he puts up a fight to about the 43-yard line, and that'll do it. Well, it's just good old-fashioned country slugfest is what we're looking at here in the first 24.
And 2 teams with fun attitudes. I mean, give no quarter, take no quarter. We've seen Connor run and tackle hard. We've seen Kozlowski and Vokar really go at it, tooth and nail with who they're against. It's fun football. It's what you like to see in a championship game.
Good defense. Peck, McGarity all stepping in there so far. 7-3 at halftime, as advertised. A slugfest. We're looking forward to a great second half.
Pennsylvania's championship network, the Pennsylvania Cable Network, proud to present the 2002 PIAA Football Championship 7-3 as we go to the break. Back with more after this.
You're watching PIAA Championship Football exclusively on PCN, Pennsylvania's Championship Network.
Be a part of the action. PIAA is actively seeking individuals to become PIAA registered officials. PIAA presently registers officials in 12 different sports and sponsors 60 championships for its 1,384 member schools. With over 250,000 students participating in athletics annually, the need for qualified individuals to officiate these programs is vital. The PIAA has over 12,000 registered officials, one of the largest officials groups in the National Federation of State High School Associations. However, with the growth of middle school programs, PIAA is facing statewide shortages of officials in soccer, swimming and diving, field hockey, and track and field. Any individual who is a high school graduate or 18 years of age or older is encouraged to get involved. For more information, check out the PIAA website at www.piaa.org or call the PIAA office at 1-800-382-1392.
Hello, and welcome to the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We're delighted to join with you in celebrating high school athletics in the Commonwealth. Everything that we do here at PCN, from our daily coverage of the General Assembly to programs exploring manufacturing, from carriage of significant Pennsylvania events to our satellite distribution across the state. All of this is made possible by Pennsylvania cable television companies which carry our service on their channel lineup. Often at PCN, we'll list the names and service areas of local cable providers. These are the community-minded companies which pay a monthly fee to cover network programming and operating costs. PCN receives no state funding. We are supported instead through the generosity of cable systems which make PCN available to their subscribers. In watching high school sports on PCN, we hope you'll remember the commitment of Pennsylvania cable television companies. They're the ones that make this network and today's programming possible.
Homework Help on PCN is a live 2-hour call-in program for students in grades 1 through 12.
This is the show to watch if you want to get the homework done.
State-certified teachers work through math and science questions with students.
The diameter of this sphere is basically going from this end through the center to the other end.
Homework Help on PCN airs throughout the school year on Sundays, live at 5 p.m. On the Pennsylvania Cable Network, available exclusively on local cable television systems. PCN is funded by cable companies in Pennsylvania, many of whom were responsible for creating this public affairs service. Don't miss out on state legislative coverage and carriage of significant Pennsylvania events. Only on PCN and only on local cable. It's one more great reason to stay connected with the proud cable company in your area. Visit factories, museums, and other interesting places in Pennsylvania every week on PCN. A PCN tour takes you inside Pennsylvania's industry and history. Tours air on Sundays at 8 p.m. on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Around-the-clock coverage of the State Farm Show airs in January on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Watch for championship rodeos, folk dancing contests, livestock judging, horse pulling competitions, cooking and wildlife demonstrations, and the Sheep to Shawl contest as PCN presents sights and sounds from Harrisburg's Farm Show complex. It's the Commonwealth's premier agricultural showcase, televised exclusively on PCN, state leader in public affairs programming. PCN Tours, Pennsylvania Cable Network's series of video visits to manufacturing plants, is now available in book form. The softcover companion to the popular television show highlights 28 Pennsylvania companies and features images from the production process alongside the words of each program. Relive your favorite PCN Tours episode or share the wealth and tradition of Pennsylvania industry with family and friends. The book also includes contact information for hundreds of facilities showcased on the statewide series. To order the publication, send a check for $26 payable to the Pennsylvania Cable Network, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, PA 17011. Visa and MasterCard may also be used for PCN Tours book purchases by calling the network toll-free at 1-866-PCN-8433. Prices include shipping and state sales tax.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for coming early. We'd be pleased to receive your opening statement, and then we'll get into the questions. Really, what does that mean? Why don't you help us draft a law?
And that was my awakening to see these B-24s shot down, the flames and all. I realized then that the bomber crews were the real heroes of the air war.
I was burned out. I was 23 years old in age and 123 in body.
World War II, in their own words. A PCN television special airing December 26th through December 29th.
College students majoring in communications or political science. The Pennsylvania Cable Network is now seeking interns for the upcoming scholastic semester. Interns gain valuable hands-on experience at PCN alongside television industry professionals. For application information, visit our website at pcntv.com or send a resume to Pennsylvania Cable Network, 401 Fallowfield Road, Camp Hill, PA 17011. With over 115,000 interscholastic contests taking place each year, PIAA continues to emphasize the importance of sportsmanship. The PIAA defines sportsmanship as qualities characterized by genuine concern for others. In 1996, PIAA introduced the sportsmanship program, The Only Missing Piece Is You. Its mission is to educate and promote the practice of good sportsmanship. The ideals of sportsmanship apply equally to all disciplines. Individuals, regardless of their roles in interscholastic athletics, are expected to be aware of their influence on the behavior of others and act in a responsible manner at all times. Along with the sportsmanship program, PIAA also requires all of its registered officials to read the PIAA sportsmanship message to captains and coaches prior to games at all levels. PIAA encourages everyone involved in interscholastic athletics, from fans to contestants, to exemplify good sportsmanship. The only missing piece is you. Tours, books, and profiles every Sunday night on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. At 8, PCN tours museums and manufacturing facilities in the state. At 9, PA Books interviews authors on Pennsylvania topics. And at 10, PCN profiles prominent state residents. Tours, books, and profiles. Sunday evenings in the Commonwealth on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
High school wrestlers grapple all winter long on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Saturday nights in primetime, PCN Match of the Week presentations feature top scholastic wrestling teams from around the state. It's a full season of mat action on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. PCN Match of the Week bouts air at 7:30 p.m. and lead into the network's exclusive carriage of individual weight class finals in March. For the best in high school athletics, turn to the Pennsylvania Cable Network, state leader in scholastic sports programming. PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship football continues on PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Welcome back. 7-3 the score at halftime. It's Hopewell on top of Strath Haven here in the state AAA championship. I'm Mike Conti, joined by Bill Utterback of the Beaver County Times. And Bill, this has been, I think, a very well-played game here. Defensive struggle through the first 24 minutes of the game. Your thoughts?
This is exactly what Hopewell wanted. They've never been here before. It's first time in the big state spotlight, and they came out, they played well, put a drive together, took the lead. I'm sure they're thrilled.
Hopewell is really establishing itself now as a pretty good WPIAL power. They won their first District 7 title this year. They're in the state championship game. You've been around the team. Do you think they're feeling any pressure at all being in this environment?
This team, this particular group of seniors has been an extraordinary three-sport group. As freshmen, they won a WPIAL baseball championship at Three Rivers Stadium. You know, in the spotlight there. Last year as basketball players, they went farther than any Hopewell team had ever gone into the state quarterfinals. They played the big arenas, the Palumbo Center in Pittsburgh. So they've been a lot of places. They've done a lot of things. They're in a new place as far as football, but they've been a lot of places. They've got a lot of experience along the way.
Strath Haven in Eastern PA has been a dominant program the last couple of years. What are your thoughts of Strath Haven, having seen them here in the first half?
Strath Haven is going to battle you the whole way through. They're not going to give up anything easy, and I think, the teams from the West know that. I mean, West Allegheny had to work start to finish to win last year. Hopewell's going to have to do the same thing to compete today.
So what does Strath Haven have to do to get back, and what does Hopewell have to do to protect their lead?
It looks like the kind of game where it's going to come down to no mistakes. Strath Haven has had some open receivers. I'm sure they're going to go back to those kind of plays. That's been a weakness for Hopewell. They're a run-conscious team. You give them a little run fake, and you can beat them sometimes in the secondary. So I'm sure Strath Haven's going to lean on that. Hopewell wants the ball, and they want to hold on to it, 80 yards in 10 minutes at a time.
It's been a big day for Beaver County, I guess. Rochester came up a little bit short, but 2 teams in one day, that's something else.
It's become a little bit routine for Beaver County. Rochester and Southside have been successful in the Class A tournament, and West Allegheny and Moon are not Beaver County teams. They're right on the Beaver County border. They play in the same conference as Hopewell and Blackhawk and some of our Beaver County teams. So teams from those 2 conferences are used to making this trip. And they've kind of established themselves, as state powers.
Bill Letterbach of the Beaver County Times, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, let's go back upstairs to Gary Sutton, and he'll have the first half highlights.
Well, we're back upstairs now, and Steve and I sitting here getting ready for the first half highlights, and there weren't a ton of them, Steve, but there were enough to kind of keep us interested, right?
Well, you would think in a 7-3 game that you'd kind of scratch your head, but this is one of the highlights, and this is the double-team block led by Bokor on Connor to lead Puzzlesny in from 2 yards out. The second highlight that we have is the fumbled kickoff and the recovery by 13, Jason Bystry, who does a nice job going in and corralling the football. Key turnover. This next play, dynamite job by the linebackers who are stunningly good, and all juniors for Strath Haven.
And one Mr. McGarity taking care of things right there. And then you see this look downfield. And you're going to see an interception coming up right here. An ill-advised pass as Connor's got it up playing a zone defense back there. Watch Connor come into the picture from out of the right side of your screen. And he's going to step in and pick this ball off as Fontana looking downfield. And there's Connor, number 40, making a great defensive play on the pass after a flag had been down against Hopewell.
Yep, and it was going to be, it was either going to be a 5-yard penalty or, unfortunately, an interception. Good play fake there, and this is the 36-yard connection from Turner to Davis.
Watch Turner set this up by faking toward the line, looking like he's going to run, kind of pulling back and then pointing and saying, okay, get ahead there. And a beautiful pass downfield that time to Quentin Brown, the split end.
Brown, my bad. And now here's the interception by Bokor.
For every big guy in the world, this is your moment to be free, right? Reach out and pick it off. Just when you thought you had a good possession passing game going, Bokor says, I'd like to possess the pass. Takes it, and you talk about great stats here in the first half. 2 teams that are trying to run the football. Here's the big number, Hopewell up 7-3. First downs, 4 and 5, very close. 119 rushing yards to 31, though. That talks about the dominance along the line so far, Steve.
Well, and also when you look at that stat, a lot of that comes on the 67-yard touchdown drive. The amazing part about that drive, all on the ground, and they never had a 3rd down play on that drive.
But here's the number you look at right here, 90-0 on the other side, starting to equal it out. So down you got 121 to 119 yards. Things evening up there a little bit, and I think you're going to see more passing from Strath Haven coming up here in the second half. I don't think they can get by that big line of Hopewell.
I think offensively they want to do that. I think Hopewell on the other side would not mind to get through the entire game with A, more points, but also B, I don't think they need to pass the football at all. They're running it very effectively, but you're right. We're going to see Strath Haven, I think, try and open it up and pressure it a little bit on the outside with the throw.
Well, Fontana was nothing out of 1 in the passing department in the first half. 1 interception. That tells you how much they like to pass. Puzzlesny, 15 carries for 76 yards, 1 TD, as advertised, a great one. 10 carries for 45 yards for Bruce on the other side. For Strath Haven, not able to establish. You have Davis with 6 carries for 18 yards. Connor, 6 carries for 14 yards. The dominance on the line right now belongs to Hopewell.
Yeah, and this is a Strath Haven team that came in. We mentioned Connor, 1471, Davis, 1277. That's 2,700 yards on the ground between 2 guys not half bad, but Hopewell is winning the battle up front. And in talking to the coaches before the game, one of the keys that Kevin Clancy mentioned was that they need to handle both offensive and defensive lines of Hopewell. And so far, credit Hopewell with that victory.
Well, let's turn the mic back over to a chilly Jed Donahue sitting high above Hershey Stadium here in a balmy 20-degree night. I think it's dropped a little bit since game time started, Jed.
You guys didn't get the memo, keeping my headphones warm. Holy smoke. It's like putting an ice tray over your head.
Well, there
here.
we are sitting high atop Hershey Stadium, as you said, and here comes Hopewell. They're hot right now. They don't even notice that it's cold out here.
Well, none of the players do, I don't think. That's kind of where it is. We're going to visit with Mike Conte here momentarily. But 7-3 as you see the Vikings come out, and everybody kind of bundled up, and they did miraculous work to get this field ready. Talking to Tom Stevens, the director of operations here at the Hershey Park Stadium. They're here into the wee hours, and fortunately, guys, we had a light snow in this area yesterday. If it was one of those heavy wet snows, I'm not sure we're here tonight. There's really not much you can do when it gets heavy like that, but it wasn't. Mr. Erie over here, this is just a dusting for him.
I had a different idea when you said light snow, and I went, yeah, you're right.
These are like flurries up in your neighborhood.
8 inches, you know, this isn't even snowblower weather.
June and July, I mean, this is pretty good weather, right?
Well, by the time April comes around, you're able to get your snowblower out the porch roof. So
just
you're
kidding.
All right.
People in Erie were just kidding. It's okay.
No, I'm not kidding. I live there. It's all true.
Actually,
they know it.
Somebody up there told me that Edinburgh probably gets more snow than Erie.
Yeah, and it's simply geographic. There's a ridge just south of Interstate 90. Everything drops off towards the lake when you head north, and all of these snow bands hit there.
Well, for Strath Haven, you know, Kevin Clancy, let's go in there. You're telling your kids down 7-3. It's rare that you have one of these conversations if you're Strath Haven, because they've been on the lead so much this year, but you got to look at your team confidently and try and bring that confidence out a little bit.
I think despite the fact that Bocor got the interception at the end of the half, you started to establish kind of a possession passing game. If they continue to play zone on the other side of the secondary for Hopewell, I think you've got to try to get your athletes underneath that zone, give them some room to run and gain yardage that way, because you're getting nothing on the line of scrimmage.
We also talked in the first game how important it was for Southern Columbia to break out on top and keep some momentum, and that Rochester probably wouldn't have a problem coming back because of the fact that they play in a very close conference in terms of competition. I don't think Strath Haven, given the fact that they've been here before, given the fact that they are the team that they are, 94 out of the last 99 games they've won, I don't think 7-3 bothers them all that much. I think what does bother them is the inability to run the football.
There's the most important guy in the building, the hot chocolate guy tonight. He's running up and down the stairs. He's put in some laps.
Say, these stairs have grown a lot today. And they're gotten a little higher since we started this day, going up and down these things. By the way, I think you're going to see a lot of Turner and Carter here in the second, or Davis and Carter in the second half here. I really believe that those guys are the guys you want to get out in the flat. And maybe by getting them out there and respecting the passing game a little bit more, then you open up Connor a little bit more on the inside.
Strath Haven gets the ball to start the third quarter. Do they maybe come out and try to establish the run again? Because if they can do that, then that makes some other things palpable. But if they can't, I think you're right. They got to go to their speed, because that's still an advantage to them.
Yeah, I'm going against the percentages by saying you establish the passing game to establish the run game, which is totally against all the teaching that you do in the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but it's not against what we've seen from Strath Haven. If you go back to 2 years ago when they had to have a drive with Mike Connor, they had Josh Hannum, and they got the job done against West Allegheny in that great final where they won 31-28. And then last year, they just got in too big of a hole, and they had some inexperience at the quarterback position. They believe firmly that they can win the game with Rodney Turner, the quarterback.
Oh, he had a great first half. I thought he threw the ball very effectively, short and long, and made some really good decisions, which is how you win with a quarterback that some people question.
Great teams have to redefine themselves to the moment, and I think any sport that you're talking about, a great team, you see Kevin Clancy there talking things over, has to decide how they're going to win the football game. And if it's by pass, then you've got to figure out what are we going to do. And I think the possession passing game for Strath Haven will work. I just think that Turner needs to make sure he's very, very patient.
Why don't we go out to midfield and visit and see how the referee of tonight's game, John Shoup, is seeing things as we look at the third quarter. Let's go there.
Right in, guys, shake hands. Nice job, guys. Okay, to start tonight's ball game, Strath Haven. You had the toss. You elected to receive. Hopewell, your choice. Kick, receive, defend, goal. That's the ball. Which way you want to kick, Strath Haven? You want to defend the scoreboard? Put your backs up. Okay.
So there you have it. Hopewell is going to go on offense to start the third quarter. And the Vikings come in. Their only loss this year, Paul Bezluzny did not play. There's his first half with 76 yards. And they're ticketing him on defense at the next level, a linebacker, but really I've got to be impressed with the way he runs. And he just kind of stays at the line of scrimmage and kind of finds which way is best for him to go.
He wants to find out when to go north and south, and when he does it with great conviction, and patience has been the key for him tonight. He's averaging 5 yards a carry.
Hey, I'm not that fast. I'd love to run behind that line. I got to tell you, that's a line you can get up, 259 pounds average on that line. By the way, we look up at the flag right now. Absolutely no wind blowing here at the moment on any of the flags in the stadium. It's totally going dead.
Let's go to Mike Conti and find out how that field's shaking down. Mike?
Jet Field is in great shape. As Gary mentioned, no wind. The real factor right now as far as conditions go, temperature. It's about 17 degrees right now, I'm told, at halftime. Expect some stone hands here in the second half. The wind is dead calm, and the field is in excellent shape.
And that's a 5-degree drop from kickoff as we start the third quarter. Bezluzny, he's got a pretty good head of steam across the 30 and all the way to the 37-yard line, maybe close to the 38. Tackle is made by Jim Rowland for Strath Haven.
So interesting when you do something like this. You interrupt the rhythm of the rush coming down the field. Everybody pointing toward Bezluzny. He picks it up and just heads straight up the gut, and look at the opening that opens up right there.
The other thing is that the patience to grab the football, and the first thing that we saw in that replay, his head came up to see where everybody is, and then north-south, and that's the way he runs.
Kind of strides like Robert Smith, the old Vikings running back in Minnesota. They'll pitch it now. Bezluzny to the outside, has 10, and winds to midfield. A gain of 12.
Great block by 22, McCrory on the outside.
See if we can stop this one again this time and show you what really sets this up with Fontana hanging onto the ball in the option. Now watch this. He's going to put the ball right in Bruce's gut and hold it there forever and really sells the play. Look at everybody. Freezes the linebackers, and now here you come. Pitch to the outside, and you've got Bezluzny coming right around the corner.
Here comes the good block by 22 right there.
That's McCrory. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He punts, he returns kicks. Backs are in a power eye, and they'll bang Bruce. He's got a big hole into the secondary, and it's a foot race in the clear 30, 25. Carter pushes him out at the 12-yard line. Wow. A gain of 35, and Hopewell is flying out of the locker room to start the second half.
Mike Bruce, 6 foot, 200 pounds, and look at him outrun some of the speed guys from Strath Haven.
And it's Lenny Carter, one of the fastest guys in Strath Haven secondary, to finally use the angle and push him out of bounds. Bruce came into the game with 794 yards, averaging 4.8 yards per carry.
Speaking of angles, Gary, Bruce took a great angle right after he got past the line of scrimmage, broke it to the outside on a good angle to eliminate some of the speed advantage of the defenders.
Bezluzny inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. He's got 6 more on first down, and again, that offensive line of Hopewell has been the storyline in this game so far.
Let's stop right here and take a look. Watch. When Bezluzny gets to the line, here's the line of scrimmage. He gets to the line. He's already got it cleared out. All he's got to do is just keep on running, and look what happens.
Great block there by Bruce. Bruce took on Connor, and it's almost like he is the guided missile. You know, normally the spy's on defense. Looks like Bruce is a spy on offense.
Absolutely.
Here's Bruce on the carry. Bruce fighting, touchdown! Wow. He's in from 6 yards. His 36-yard run set up this. And they're on the lead now, 13-3.
Well, you talk about what they talked about in the locker room at halftime. It was, let's just take control of this line. Look at it right along the line. You can see it. He's to the line. Strath Haven's already back 2 yards. I mean, this is a walk into the end zone. Yeah. Just pushing on in.
That drive looked like the only adjustments they made at halftime was ratcheting up the chin straps a little bit tighter.
They just got tougher.
That was a great offensive drive.
Kosnick is on for the conversion. Again, this is a guy with a live leg. That kick is up, and it is good. So they've got a timeout on the field with 10:56 to go. A short drive by Hopewell, using the big play to take the 14-3 lead as Mike Bruce goes in from 6 yards out. And Strath Haven coming now from their largest deficit of the season of 14-0. And again, we're getting an idea. Let's look at the line play we isolated here.
Watch Mike Bargerstock, number 54 on the left side. You can't really see him. He's pushing through on the outside. Really gave the angle, but allowed the touchdown to be scored there.
Short play or short drive in terms of time of possession, just 1:04, but 62 yards all on the ground. They've got a 67 and a 62-yard drive, and again, never facing third down. You got to like that.
We'd like to acknowledge the 3 million homes across the state of Pennsylvania, the millions of Commonwealth residents and sports fans receiving television coverage of the PIAA football championships on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, state leader in scholastic sports programming. Pennsylvania's championship network, live here on Friday night in Hershey, December the 6th, 14-3. And many of you will be able to enjoy these games again on Christmas Day and on New Year's. Jed Donahue, along with Gary Sutton.
You know, the nice thing about enjoying these games on Christmas and New Year's, will be inside and it'll be warm. 17
degrees was the last temperature report we had from Mike Conti. Here's Quentin Brown. Fields this. Brown's got some speed if he can get to the outside, but Hopewell just not allowing that to happen now.
Last time they were able to get a fumble out of it. This time, not so. Quentin Brown, there you see him. He of the sure hands. Picks it up and heads around the outside.
High noon. Dave Shinsky, you see him there, leading Mount Carmel. The Red Tornadoes, undefeated against undefeated Seton LaSalle. Anthony Doria, and if we get the forecast we think we're going to get, balls will be in the air, and then Woodland Hills and Parkland. Austin Scott, Chris Morgan pictured there with Woodland Hills, the number 3 team nationally. Here's Dan Connor, bangs out of it. He's got big yardage. He's got wheels rumbling all the way to the 42 of Hopewell.
Give Connor credit. He made this play himself. He was dead stopped on that line again and just bounced off, said, I can't get that side. How about if I try this side? This is how simple this play is. Here he comes right side. Bangs. Nothing there. Look at that. Just take off the other side. Maybe there's nobody home.
And again, he's got much better speed than you would think. And he rips off 24 yards. And Matt Fontana, quarterback, safety, makes the play. But Strath Haven into Hopewell territory. 1st and 10 to the 42. Here comes Connor again. Steps through to the 39. Not much room there. Tackle is going to be made for Hopewell defensively that time by Mike Hudak. 6 foot, 255-pound senior.
One of the things that Hopewell's been able to do tonight is keep Strath Haven from getting any big yardage on 1st down. Every time they're coming up to 3rd down, it's 3rd down and 6, 3rd down and 5 all evening long.
And Bokar there, 74.
You mentioned the simplicity of the big run by Connor, but it's also a great decision. If he doesn't decide to cut it back at that very moment, he doesn't get that yardage.
Here he comes again, and Hopewell is all over him and gobbles him up at the line of scrimmage. There's nothing there. Hudak is really beginning to get the engine hot, isn't he, on that defensive wall. 75 for Hopewell.
Yep. And he's one of those guys who, once the engine's going, it makes it a little difficult to block him.
Did you see him just bull his way to the ball carrier?
Yep.
Just literally shed Paul Vashian that time to get open. I mean, just pushed him off there like he was a gnat. 0 out of 5 so far on 3rd downs for Strath Haven this evening.
They've got 7 that they need to pick it up. They run Carter. Carter trying to go between the tackles and gets just hog-tied. Hudak again. Wow.
Mike Hudak, 6 foot, 255, and you talk about some quicks. Watch this hole close down. Looks like a little bit of space, and there's Hudak.
That's an outstanding tackle, and because the running back has 4.4 speed. Hudak might be running about 4.4 at this time of the game, too. Big 4th down.
Watch the tight end Peck here. Number 80. 4th down and 5 as Turner drops. Turner rolling. Turner may keep it himself. Now throws on the run. He's got his man caught. 1st down. Lenny Carter to the 25.
Same concept as before. Starts to run, pulls up, great presence, and finds his man Carter wide open on a big 4th down play. Look at this.
And that ball barely got there.
And this is a tough throw as he throws it off his right foot coming down. Watch this. There it is.
Just over Pozlesny's outstretched hands.
Look at that pocket, though.
Credit the catch, too. That's good concentration. Because I think Pozlesny got a piece of that.
Here comes Connor, steps through, bangs inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. It's a gain of 6. And the Strath Haven offensive line beginning to make a statement here. And Connor cutting back now.
It's one of the first plays we've seen all night where we've seen the big guys up front wearing white fall back a little bit. That was a strong blocking scheme that time by Strath Haven.
Seeing some trap blocking in there right now that's really starting to open up some holes from Connor.
2nd and 4 at the 19-yard line. Here comes Carter trying to get to the outside and chop down after a gain of 1. Hudak again, 75.
Also credit to Board on that. He got in and really knocked down the lead blocker. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see it here.
What you're seeing is a lot of pulling right now. We're seeing McGarity, the guard, again, pulling out, and you're just trying to get in behind and get a lot of people up front to block out of the way, but not so. This time, Hopewell equal to the task.
Good eyes in there, Steve, because DeBoer got kind of turned around but stayed in the play. 3rd and 3 now for Strath Haven. They're in 4-down country, down by 11. Turner play action, throws on the run. This is Connor's got a first down, fighting to about the 10. It's goal to go, Strath Haven.
That might be my favorite play call tonight by Kevin Clancy. That's a perfect time for a little rollout, little dump off to Connor. Connor's been running the football very well, so get him in stride, a little head of speed, and see what he can do in the backfield. Good tackle by Fontana, too.
Pretty good sales job by Carter coming around on the fake handoff.
Give credit to Carmen Gentile, also number 70, the offensive guard who pulled out there and bought a little time.
Pretty good football play for everybody involved.
Handoff Connor, not much in there, and Hopewell swallows it whole at about the 10. No gain. On the bottom of the pile is Grant Nelson. There he is, number 82. He's played a heck of a game tonight for Hopewell. 6'2", 200-pound junior.
Down 2 scores right now, and while this would not be a must situation, certainly you kind of sense just not desperation right now, but a sense of moment here for Strath Haven.
Well, they need to get a touchdown on this. They're bringing double tight ends into the football game. Ryan Casey is in, 6'4", 185-pounder.
10th play of this drive.
2nd and 10 now for Strath Haven as Turner comes under center. They're going to run Carter wide. They got to seal out Carter to the corner and a touchdown. Big block by Connor, who got him clean to the outside, and Strath Haven answers and counterpunches very well.
Look like the old Green Bay sweep on this play. Everybody pulling at the guard. You just sweep it, angle toward the corner, and knock everybody down on the way. Great blocking the whole way by Strath Haven to get into the end zone and pull it back to 14-9.
Carter's definitely going to get that corner most times. They do the odd formation, and then they come back. Connolly is on for the extra point. Or Donnelly, excuse me. There he is. These extra points are big tonight, aren't they? 14-9 right now. Snap is down. The kick is up, and it is good. I'll tell you what, McCrory almost got in there and blocked that. So Strath Haven goes 11 plays.
Watch the job by the front line because it looks like it's the lead blockers, but no one gets out in pursuit on this play. Connor just barely bumps off the board, and it's just a question of can Davis hit the corner, and he did.
Picking up your blocking assignments the whole way. 10 plays, 66 yards, 449 on that drive by Strath Haven as they kind of rebound against the score.
Let's go down to Mike Conti. Mike?
Guys, it was debatable as to whether or not Carter would even be playing in this game tonight. He suffered a concussion in the Pittston game 2 weeks ago, did not play in the final last weekend again against Lower Dolphin. It was a game-time decision tonight. Coach Clancy decided to play him, and he comes up big with a big touchdown here in the 3rd quarter.
And that's a 10-play drive, 4 minutes and 49 seconds as you look at Lenny Carter. He's only a sophomore, 5'11", 200 pounds.
And we saw McCrory coming in there in the extra point. I think he got a little piece of that football going through.
He might have.
Yeah.
And the longest Strath Haven drive before that was 5 plays. That's a live ball, but it's covered by Hopewell. at the 47-yard line. Well, both coaches know, Mike was telling us 17 degrees outside. You might as well kick this concrete block around a little bit and see if you can get a short turnover or something.
The only problem is now you got a really short field. It's only 54 yards long that you've got to play. I'm not sure that you want to get it quite that short.
And you have to think, given the fact that I think sometimes we say it cavalierly, this is, after all, a state championship game. I think both coaching staffs, especially on special teams, are telling everybody, watch for anything. And I think that that cuts down on the ability for any of those trick plays to work.
Mike Bruce, he had a big 36-yard run in their last touchdown drive in this quarter. Nudges his way towards midfield and a gain of 3 or 4.
There's nothing fancy about what Hopewell's going to do right here is reestablish dominance again along that line as you see everybody just getting in front and punching through.
We'll give you an idea how Bruce's numbers stack up here this evening. Posluszny, big hole inside the 40 all the way to the Strath Haven 35-yard line, and Posluszny just rips off 15 yards. And again, he's so velvety smooth through the line of scrimmage.
He gives you that inside move again. Watch right here, and then gets outside the tackle, and a great block up front by his running mate there, Mr. Bruce.
And another one by McCrory on the outside. Nice game being played by Matt McCrory, the 5'11 senior. He is playing wide receiver in a running offense to perfection.
You think it's not important for those little guys out there to block. You saw right there, got another 5 yards there for running play.
Well, a lot of the newspaper articles that have been written have really complimented the wide receivers for Hopewell because, you know, they don't get a lot of touches. Mike Bruce slams inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. They've got 7 more, and I'll tell you what, they are just dominating the line of scrimmage on offense.
Great mix. You take the back, tailback going on there like Posluszny, and then you come up to the up back like Bruce. Just off each time, getting them off rhythm just a little bit.
How about the rushing statistics? Posluszny 19 carries, 110 yards. Bruce 14 carries, 101.
There's the balance that we were talking about back and forth between these two.
And that's why they lead by 4. And there's your time remaining in the third. Posluszny again, stop, start. Got something out of nothing there. Got positive yardage, a gain of 2. Peck on the stop for Strath Haven.
And in a game when Strath Haven seems to have recaptured a little bit of momentum, that's a key 2-yard gain because of the patience and the vision of Paul Posluszny. Because if he would have taken it where it was supposed to go, he'd have been back to.
Even there, when he stopped at the original line of scrimmage. You saw a little bit of space in front of him. He had choices to make. So again, the Hopewell line is reestablishing their dominance that they've had pretty much most of the game. Man-to-man coverage on the near side, by the way. You have isolation.
Fontana nudges forwards, got the first down on 3rd and 1. Real safe play. Great call that time as they run behind Mike Mack, their all-state candidate at center, 6'3", 225-pound senior.
Matt McCrory is out here 1-and-1 all night long, and I know they're not going to look to throw to him, but geez, I mean, I'll tell you what, a great athlete. He has an inside move if he wants at any time during the night.
I got to compliment our production staff here in this game. That's a great shot of that line of scrimmage, and you get a real idea of just what kind of tempo and bounce that line has played with all night long.
And tempo's a real good word to use. There's a rhythm that's developed because the line has a rhythm to what they're doing, and Posluszny is reacting to that, and Bruce as well. This is good old-fashioned smash-mouth football because with a couple of exceptions, a couple of trap blocks here or there, a couple of pulls, basically what's happening is what they teach in probably 4th and 5th grade football, and that you block this guy, you block this guy, you run up the hole, and that's what they're doing.
Want to know about dominance? Want to know about running? 214 yards on the run so far for Hopewell, 0 on the pass. And why not? Look at this.
Montana's going to keep it himself, and he gets run out of bounds at the 15-yard line, but he still has 6 yards. And again, gives you an idea what kind of senior leadership Fontana has provided to this offense. He is a magician with the ball.
First time that he's actually kept it on the option. See the good play fake there. They've set it up a couple of times. We say it's only 6 yards. It's now 2nd and 4. Most coaches would love to be in 2nd and 4.
Last time he faked it to Bruce, pitched it out to Buzz Leslie. This time he keeps it himself, takes it around the corner, and again, his line has given him plenty of room to run.
And second and a manageable 4 from the 15-yard line. This is Mike Bruce up the middle. He's got pretty good thrust, and he moves the pile inside the 10, and a first down, Hopewell. Their goal to go from the 8-yard line.
So important for that quarterback to sell it. Now watch this. Watch him hold right here. See him? Holds it and then runs through his fakes. But you hold it in there. You're not sure if they have that moment of hesitation on that defensive line.
Well, we saw 70 on that play. Watch, Carmen Gentile comes in, buys the fake just enough that keeps the hole open for Bruce.
Bruce is really impressive tonight, especially here in this third quarter. He's really changed the complexion of this game a lot because most of the keys were on Pezlezny, and Bruce is really cashing in here. Now they go to Pezlezny, and Pezlezny flies forward inside the 5, and again, always falling forward. He's going to get something positive here.
And it's north-south running, and it's simple plays for both the offensive line and the running backs and the lead backs. That's just follow the guy in the white shirt in front of you, get what you can, keep the clock moving because we're still in the third quarter, but as the clock winds down, 4 points becomes a little bit bigger.
And Fontana just orchestrating this like a great maestro at the moment, carrying out all kinds of fakes and great ball handling. Watch this.
Handoff, Bruce steps through, got the touchdown for Hopewell. Impressive drive for the Vikings as they answer the Strath Haven score with one of their own, and they lead by 10 with a conversion coming.
They're running this option to perfection the second half and doing a great job of mixing up with Bruce, Pezlezny, and now also with Fontana. But that time, again, you see Fontana putting the ball in there, holding it in the chest for a moment, and then letting Bruce carry it through.
When it was 1st and goal at the 8-yard line, they went to the full house. They brought in 45, Chad Estelle. He's had 2 great lead blocks on those 2 runs, especially on Bruce's touchdown.
Snap is down, and the kick is good again. Koznick 3 for 3, and it's now 21-10. And I hope there we go. We have that sideline shot on just how good that offensive line has been. Bokar, Hudak, Mack, Jonke.
259-pound average up there, but they are quick. They are good.
I was just going to say, Gary, big, yes. Athletic, yes, because we've seen that. It takes a lot of athleticism to do what they're doing tonight, along with being big and brawny.
259 to 236 is the average right now, offense versus defensive line.
Well, we knew that the key to winning was going to be maybe on the ground, but we wanted to run it by Coach David Vestal of Hopewell, and here's what he had to say before the game when we talked to him.
Control the football. I mean, we run the ball. There's no secret about that. And obviously not have any turnovers and penalties. Those are all critical things when you're playing a good football team. But control the football and just do what we've done all year, and that's just run.
Well, he went to Miami of Ohio, as Mike was telling us. He's got that wild aeronautical space engineering. But the cradle of coaches, guys that like to live on the ground. Bo Schebeckler, Woody Hayes, Paul Brown,
Aaron Parsegian. He's doing a great job getting his big guys to create some space, as it were, for the running backs.
Well done, and he doesn't have to do it through the air. So far, 0 yards through the air, and why not? He's got a 10-point lead at the end of the third quarter.
And here comes Strath Haven's turn. Late third quarter, this is going to be Durnell. And Durnell gets it across the 30 to about the 33-yard line.
We're getting into that statement react right now. You make a statement, you throw the gauntlet down, the other team reacts. So we saw a score first by Hopewell. We saw the reaction and the comeback there by Strath Haven. Now the statement again by Hopewell. Now Strath Haven really has a sense of urgency, I think, being down 2 scores and being here at the end of the third.
That last drive, 9 plays, 54 yards, but more importantly, 3:52 off the clock. And history was made, a third down play in that drive, and converted.
Here's Turner throwing. He's got a man out there. It's Quentin Brown. Tries to step through. Pretty good play by Brown to the 42-yard line. It's a gain of 8, creating 2nd down and 2 for Strath Haven.
Safe possession kind of pass. You'll see him look out there. Turner finds Brown out the flat. Just let him go one-on-one, get 9 quick yards, and now you put yourself in a nice position with 2nd down and short.
But also one of those good football plays for everyone involved. McCrory on a real speedy guy stuck with him. You saw Brown looking to make some sort of a move, and McCrory with a good open field tackle.
Here comes Connor. Nudges forward, and I think second effort good enough for the first down to the 45-yard line. He needed the 44. While we have this opportunity, let's visit with Mike Conti and see what Mike has as we look at Connor run for this first down. Mike?
Well, Steve has mentioned the great play of McCrory throughout the game. He's really kind of a neat story for Hopewell. His mother lost her battle with cancer one day before the start of the regular season on August 29th. McCrory elected to play the next night, the first night of the regular season, as a tribute to his mother. His mother was a big Hopewell football supporter. He is dedicating this game and his season to his late mother.
There's Durnell. And again, Hopewell just defensively strings it out. You got to run right at him, I think, but
great job by Mike Mack, number 50, to string this out because you've got speed on the outside and a couple of blockers in front of him.
And there's McCrory also, who Mike was just talking about.
Just a straight handoff. Let Durnell try to get around the corner. Nothing. Do a great lateral pursuit along that line of scrimmage. Look at Hopewell. Just standing everyone up, pushing them back, and there's no place to go.
And Mack had his hands full with Dan.
I was just going to say, that's not any lead blocker either. That's a pretty dandy football player that he handled there.
There's Turner under pressure, and he's going to go under at about the 42-yard line, a loss of 5. And it'll be third down and long coming up for Strath Haven.
Tell you, the one thing that Hopewell's done a great job on all night, they have never let Turner really get out of the pocket all evening long. Even when he's made his passes, they've been from within the pocket. Watch it here. They bottle him up, and now they just chase him down. He has nowhere to go.
Also, I'll tell you, he's also unavailable. He's had touchdown catches in each of his last 4 games is Dave Peck. They have just totally shut him out of the offensive game plan, and we have come to the end of the third quarter of play, and Hopewell on the lead by 11, 12 minutes away.
Gary, you talked about the act-react situation. What we didn't add into the equation was the fact that that touchdown drive has really juiced up this Hopewell defensive line again, because they were being pushed around a little bit on the Strath Haven touchdown drive.
When you watch Bocor and John Key, they do a great job of getting on the outside, keeping you bottled up all night. They never let you get out and do any kind of sprint out kind of stuff, and they really, because of their strength, push the line back right away. But they've kept Turner inside all night long.
PCN is well known for covering state government activities, but its public affairs programming also extends to significant Pennsylvania events. For State Farm Show coverage, Gettysburg Battlefield walks, factory tours, and of course Scholastic Sports Finals, set your cable dial to the home of high school champions, PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
Well, you look at the running again that quarter. Bruce with 6 carries, 67 yards in third quarter. Connor, 6 carries for 36 yards. Connor's finding it very, very tough going tonight, and everybody's keyed on him. And again, we come back to the passing game, so important. And now in the fourth quarter, when you're down 10 points, becomes just a little bit more important for the Strath Haven team.
So we start the fourth quarter with Strath Haven facing 3rd and 10. Turner drops, looking, throws, pretty good pass, slipping at the 42-yard line is Carter. He had a pretty good read on it, but his feet went out from under him, and it'll be 4th and 10.
And again, I'm not sure that it's the temperature that affected it. This field has been used a lot, and that's an area that's been worn a little bit, especially by soccer games. And that was just trying to stop, and his foot came out from underneath him. The weather conditions outside of it being cold as all get out have not really affected this or the first football game today.
So on to punt now, Steve Taylor for Strath Haven. Gets it out of there. Fontana for Hopewell, and again, pretty good field position for the Vikings as they'll get a 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line.
You've got to think for Strath Haven right now, this has got to be a stop if they're to stay in this football game. And for Hopewell, this is the time you want to get 3, 4, 5 first downs, and even if you don't score, you've run the clock down. You put Strath Haven in a really bad position.
Talking to Dave Vestal before the game, one of his keys was to win the turnover battle. They haven't won it, but they've tied it. We see Pozlesny, 21 carries, 107 yards in that touchdown. Bruce over 100 yards as well with 2 touchdowns. It's been the interception by Fontana, the only turnover, and they recovered the fumble on the kickoff.
They have scored on each of their 2 drives here in this second half. As Lesney flies to the 40-yard line, and again, always falling forward And you don't think you've got much, but he ends up with 6 on first down.
Much is a relative term when you're up 11 in the fourth quarter, because much not only gives you a shorter second down, but it also runs another 30 seconds off the clock. And right now, that's as important as anything for both of these teams.
You talk about time of possession, third quarter, 8:48 for Hopewell, the time of possession. I mean, they are controlling the football, controlling the line of scrimmage. We saw it again on that play. 5 quick yards of the first down.
Because Lusney again's got a first down and more as he goes towards midfield and a gain of 10.
Chunks of yardage coming in 5s now as that offensive line continues to dominate the line of scrimmage. And by the time, here we go again, stop right there. You can see by the time they get to the line of scrimmage, there's no one there. They're back 2-3 yards every time.
And we also saw the spy on offense. Watch 43, Bruce.
Right there, look, line of scrimmage is right there. He's already there and nothing gone.
Bruce gets through the hole and finds number 40, Dan Connor, who leads this Strath Haven team in tackles. And Bruce has done as outstanding a job as the lead back as he has running the football, and that's saying something.
You talked about the spy a little bit, Steve. Tell a little bit out there what you mean by spy to people who are just kind of listening in.
They know how Strath Haven's defense works, and that's the big guys up front, and we mean the tall guys, like the stand-up, the offensive linemen, allowing the linebackers. We'll wait.
Dead ball. False start. 82 lined up in the neutral zone. Repeat, first down.
Strath Haven wants to stand up the offensive linemen and allow the linebackers, particularly Connor, to come in and make the play. Bruce is the lead blocker. His main idea is to find number 40 and get a shoulder pad, a helmet, something on him to disrupt his flow to the ball, and that eliminates one of the big keys to the Strath Haven defense.
Plus the fact they've been double teaming Connor back there all night long too, defensively.
Lusney, tough run up across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. Carter, McGarity, who else is in there tonight? That looks to be more Strath Haven in there. Looking is Rob Hunt. He's number 50 in there for the black and silver of Strath Haven. The Panthers down 11 as we go underneath 10 minutes to go here in the football game. We are in the fourth quarter.
We've been so impressed with the Hopewell front line that sometimes I think it sounds like we're referring to the Strath Haven defenders as pikers. They've played an outstanding game because they've made some big stops at big times.
They need a big stop right here.
Here's Fontana running on 2nd and 13, running to the outside, pushed out of bounds. And he's short of a first down, but he's got it to the Strath Haven 45-yard line.
Dandy lead block by 43, Bruce, and you may not see it on camera, but a nice job again by McCrory, 22, on the outside.
All you got to do is give Fontana the corner, and he's around. A good lead block, just holding his spot right there. Here's Bruce. You can see
he's been outstanding. Again, there he is, sealing the outside, and he's trying to work on Connor. And Connor gives you an idea just what kind of a special talent he is to be able to get over to that outside.
There was Fontana, again, selling the option play before he took it himself and went around the corner.
Big 3rd and 4 for the Strath Haven defense. As Lusney runs forward, first down. Oh, goodness, was that big time. To the 39, and the clock tick, tick, tick on Strath Haven here.
Terry Jonke, 52. We'll see Bruce isolated, but you'll see 52 prominently in this play.
He just wipes out Jim Rowland, the linebacker.
Yep.
Bruce is such a good blocker, and so important for that fullback to not only be a good short runner, but a good blocker. Watch this. Goes right up front, bang. I mean, knocked him back 3 yards and buys the first down.
25 carries, 141 yards for Buzz Lusney, and a touchdown.
And Jimmy Rowland, 6'1", 200 pounds. No easy cake up there.
Broken play. Peck got first thing, and Fontana makes it happen positively. I don't know how he wiggled out of that jam, but does, to the 37-yard line. And a loss of 5 turns into a gain of 3 for Hopewell.
Word that comes to mind is presence. Watch this. Look around. Oh, nobody home. I think I'll take off with it. Watch how quick the feet are getting around the corner.
I would say prestidigitation is the word that comes to mind. Little sleight of hand. Or sleight of foot, as it were. But that's a big play.
Desperation is the mother of invention.
That too.
There's Lusney again. And he moves the pile forward to the 31-yard line. There is just nothing fancy about this. This is just get in your face and move some clock and move the ball slowly but surely down the field, 3rd and short.
And you've created yourself a nice 4-down situation here because you've got field position on them, you've got short yardage, and they're doing it every time. They're down there to 3rd and a long 1 or a short 2, whatever way you look at it.
Nothing fancy, but a few things that are subtle, and we can see it there on that end zone view. Posluszny does a nice job of creating angles for himself and at the same time eliminating angles for the defenders. Looks like he's running straight ahead with his shoulders square to the line, but he dips and dives the shoulders every once in a while.
Posluszny got a big hole and still winding it inside the 20 to the 19-yard line, and a gain of 12 and a 1st down Hopewell in what could be a march to a state championship with 8:20 to go.
So many times you see 8 guys in the box trying to stop the short run. A big hole like this will open up, and quickly your tailbacks into the secondary. We see it right there with Posluszny, who's been outstanding all night.
If you're a Penn State fan watching in your living room tonight, you're smiling. You'll see Austin Scott tomorrow for Parkland in our 5 o'clock game here on Pennsylvania's Championship Network. The Pennsylvania Cable Network, 1st and 10 at the 18. Here comes Mike Bruce, 2nd effort, and he climbs to the 13 and a gain of 5. Again, doesn't look like he's getting much, but he ends up with 5.
And the outstanding deep handoff fake by the quarterback just does a great job. His hands are in there. By the time Bruce gets hit the first time, they're still there.
This is the 10th play of this drive coming up. Back-to-back huge drives by Hopewell as they really look like they're putting this thing away in style right now.
7:35 and counting to go in the football game. Hopewell 2nd and 5 at the Strath Haven 13. Posluszny again, nudges forward, feet turning. Not much there as he gets it maybe to about the 9 or the 10 officially. Here he is again.
Mr. Long and Mr. Short. First you see Bruce, now you see Posluszny coming from that tailback spot, and he's been absolutely perfect and looking over the line tonight, getting 2, 3, 4, 5 yards at a clip.
3 yards, but the next time they snap the ball, it'll be under 7 minutes, and it's certainly in field goal range right now.
We'll find out how long this drive is right now, but again, this is only the 3rd possession of the 2nd half. The other 2 have resulted in touchdowns.
We mentioned before that on the last touchdown drive, they had their first 3rd down of the entire situation. Now they're relishing having 3rd down situations. That's 35, 40 seconds more off the clock.
We're back tomorrow at noon, high noon. There's Dave Shinsky, 4-year starter. He's got offers on the table from a lot of Division I's, including Iowa, leading Mount Carmel undefeated. The Red Tornadoes back in an even-numbered year. They've won every state championship in an even-numbered year since 1994. Seton LaSalle making their 2nd appearance in the big show. The state championship game tomorrow at noon, and then at 5, the evening session, the big one. In Quad A, Woodland Hills. There's Chris Morgan, over 300 yards in the snow at Mansion Park in Altoona a week ago. The Wolverines, number 3 nationally in Parkland, with Austin Scott with 3,600 yards on the season and 48 touchdowns.
Woodland Hills
this year.
Woodland Hills
not a bad year.
Woodland Hills slightly different approach offensively this year than last year. The last few years they've been so great athletically that they've been able to do some things. George Novak pulled it back a little bit. They still have great athletes, but boy, are they a power running team this year with Morgan.
And again, the PCM viewer comment line, you want to comment on the game, 717-730-6004. We're talking about the length of this drive so far. 11th play now, 5 minutes. This is taken up again for Hopewell.
As they look at 3rd and 2, here comes Mike Bruce. Not much there, but again, that 2nd effort. And I don't think he got there this time. Dan Connor, number 40, getting up on the pile. He's got to be in that 12 to 14 tackle range.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where they mark his forward progress, because he's inside the 10. If I'm Dave Vestal, I ask now for a measurement, and they are.
They don't have more than the length of the football in this. They really don't. This is very, very close.
Let's go down to Mike Conde, who's standing right on it. Mike?
Well, I could be proven wrong, guys. I don't think he has it, but we'll see as they stretch the change. Credit this drive, though, to Henry T., Big Hal, Mac Daddy, and Big C. They are short, by the way. That is the Hopewell offensive line. This is a group that spends all their free time together. They go to class together. They spend their Saturday nights together. They even eat together. very cohesive offensive line. They are playing one whale of a ball game tonight.
Guys, may I call this play?
Sure.
Fontana keeps it.
Yeah.
Is this the simplest call of the evening?
Well, maybe yes, maybe no. At the same time, the measurement does two things. Lets them know how far they have to go, but gives them a little bit of extra time to decide what to do. I'm with you, though, Gary. All the money in my pocket, all 67 cents, is laying on this.
Well, when you got a center as good as Mike Mack, you might as well just play that.
Just lean on his back and lean forward. You got it.
There he is, and Fontana, of course, familiar running, nudging forward. He didn't get it by much, but he's there. He didn't have a lot of real estate to cover, but it's a first down for Hopewell.
The last time they had a short yardage, he really just took it right up Mack's back. We'll see on this play, does a nice job, hesitates just a little, pulls back, and then finds a little crease on the right side of that line.
And so important when you execute that quarterback sneak to take that step back, take a look over, find your gap, and then dive in behind.
Yeah, and a pretty dandy defensive job by by the folks from Strath Haven too. That was a fun football play.
And this drive now aging to the 6-minute mark like fine wine for Hopewell. Here comes Pazluzny, not much in there. Rolling in on the stop, also on the bottom of the stack for Strath Haven that time defensively is Nick Cresta, their 6'4", 240-pound junior.
Well, watch Jimmy Rowland here. He's had a great game tonight for Strath Haven, just diving into the middle of that line and getting it down. Great job bringing down Pazluzny. I mean, he really just kind of swooped in there and then takes Pazluzny on head-to-head.
Well, what a statement this will be for the WPIAA. Last year, winning their first AAA championship with West Allegheny, 28-13. And right now, Hopewell chipping away at maybe the second consecutive gold medal. Here's Pazluzny, cut back, pushing to the 1-yard line. He almost got in. He's close. It'll be 3rd and inches.
You know what's interesting about Hopewell? They've beaten 4 straight opponents who had undefeated records. They're on the verge here of assuming their 5th straight opponent. It's pretty unbelievable so far. And again, you see that good sweep to the near side. It's been good to Hopewell tonight as they get down close to the goal line.
How about the way he just stays in that traffic and then, all right, which way am I going? And he doesn't panic in there.
We also saw in that play, Estel 45 was in. They're running the elephant backfield, and he did a nice job. Bruce cut up inside to seal off Connor. Estel was the lead blocker that time.
Pazluzny dives, didn't get there.
Nope.
Jim Rowland, I think, snapped him out of midair, one of their linebackers. There's Lenny Carter.
See if he gets to the goal line of this. Here goes flying.
Let's see if 44 is there. That's him. Rowland's the one. And look at Carter.
Wow.
Wow.
He's number 5 right there. Goodness.
That was close.
Oh.
They almost knocked that ball out of there.
That's
shades of Altoona, Jed.
We saw that with Brandon Short, one of the great moments in the 15-year tournament, year of history of the tournament. Here's Fontana.
He's in.
Nudging. Did he get there?
I think so.
They haven't given him to him yet. Strath Haven stopped him on 4th down. They're still alive. We're going to see this again. That's 4th and goal to go. And they run Fontana, and he didn't get there, and that's the distance.
I just saw a pair of gold pants, and I assumed it was Matt Fontana who squeezed his way through. It was actually Hudak, 74.
Plenty of officials on the scene. Here it is. Well, he just got lost in there.
Yep. And no, you could see there was just a glimpse of his shoulder pad. You could see he did not get in. That's an outstanding stand by the Strath Haven defense.
And now
they take over on the 1-inch line, down by 11, and flags are down, and I think that they jumped Hopewell.
Yep. Did Hopewell just do them a huge favor? You're standing on the 99.5-yard line, and now they're going to move you out 5 yards.
Here comes John Shoup.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, repeat, first down.
My guess, though, is that even with jumping off sides, or with the encroachment, I don't think it changes the play call at all.
16 plays, 7:46. Hopewell took off the clock that time.
Here comes Connor up the middle, and he goes to about the 9. And They're running out of time to do that. 3:50 to go in the football game, and that one timeout they had to use earlier in this half really comes up big now.
You got to toss the football now. You just don't have time. You're down 2 scores. You need to get the ball down the field, and you only have 3:39 to go, and the clock's running.
Although they are trying to keep things honest, because knowing you're down 11, play action is pretty much out of the picture here. Turner can throw. They have some weapons. Here's Turner back. Turner under the gun and walloped and sacked.
Hudak.
Flag down. They may have 15-yard unsportsmanlike on this.
They drop back in a zone this time. There's nowhere to go for Turner as he sets back and looks. Everybody shut down. You see number 4 going back there, dropping into a zone, and right up the gut. Great tackle in the middle.
Is there a flag? I thought I saw a flag. I thought I saw one.
I thought I did too, Jed.
Okay, I wasn't the only one.
No.
Then.
And Hudak came roaring up the middle like a freight truck. Look at him.
Hudak has been a monster in the second half. Here's Turner back. Looks, throws, got a man. It's Quentin Brown. Steps through to about the 13-yard line. It's good enough for a Strath Haven first down. A gain of 8. They needed 6. But again, the clock is a big factor. It'll stop on first down, but they're going to restart it. They're going to have to almost think no huddle. Phil Atkinson running a play in from Kevin Clancy. They're down by 11. As you look at Turner, pretty good throw, pretty safe route. They had to move the chains.
But again, with the zone right now, all you're doing is making him throw underneath.
Here's Turner. Blitz is coming and down again. Well, that time it's Mike Mack flying in.
And if they stop him on this play, if it's 3rd and long, I might call it a timeout if I'm Vestal.
Well, at this point, you're up 11. You know they're going to kick out of that end, 21-10.
You get it back, all you're going to do is sit on it anyway at this point.
I'm allowed one stupid guess in the 4 days, which unfortunately means I gotta be non-stupid tomorrow.
You're doing great. It's great having you with us. Here's Turner back. He's going to roll, and again the pressure, and down again at the 1. They say the ground caused the fumble. Hopewell was more than happy to have that as a touchdown, but
Grant Nelson.
It's not how it's going to be. And he's been all over tonight as well for Hopewell defensively.
Well, if you're Turner right now, you know everybody's coming for you. You got a zone back there. It's keeping everything soft underneath, and you're just trying to find somebody open, and no one is home.
And that all started with the big push up front by the 2 defensive tackles for the Vikings.
Well, one of the problems Strath Haven has is that a lot of their guys that have been playing defense are trying to make the comeback on offense right now. There's just not enough gas in the tank. Plus, you've got a very excited Hopewell. There's David Vestal and his defense excited. 3rd and 23 from the 1. They're going to try a double handoff with Carter. And again, they string that out pretty good. Fontana in on the stop. Also there is Kurt McMillan, and I think Hopewell has this one in hand.
Yeah, McMillan did an outstanding job that time because they had the speed in the corner turn, and McMillan just stayed his ground, and he made
it's over, guys.
Made the running back make a decision, and it wasn't a good one.
35 seconds and counting, and 21-10. They're going to go on 4th down and 18. Here's Turner back. And he's going to load long, looking for Carter, and incomplete. 22 seconds left. Hopewell will touch a knee and get gold and win a state championship, their first.
Is it incredible to you that Strath Haven loses 2 games out of 60, both state championship games? Unbelievable.
Both of the champs of the Gateway Conference.
You got it.
Yep.
And what does that say about the Gateway Conference? A lot.
Well, it said, and we heard about the other teams in the conference, Moon and Blackhawk and West Allegheny. It's buckle the chin straps really hard and play every night. 0-9 versus 9-0 doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
I mean, their head coach looks like he just got out of the prom last year himself, and here he is.
He's emotional
winning
right now.
a state championship. And there are the Hopewell fans. And let's go to Mike Conti right now. Mike, the celebration's on.
It sure is. And Gary touched on this earlier, Jed. A couple weeks ago, in fact, over Thanksgiving, Dave Vestal turned to a friend of his, in fact, his neighbor, Bob Palco, coach of West Allegheny. The question, how do you beat Strath Haven? Of course, Bob Palco and West Allegheny did that to Strath Haven last year. Bob Palco addressed the Hopewell team over Thanksgiving, and Coach Dave Vestal says that was an important turning point in their playoff run. Dave Vestal, one of the younger coaches in the state tournament, has won his first ever state championship for a Hopewell team that just won their first district title.
And that'll do it. And, you know, we saw that picture. It's agony when you lose this, but what a run by Strath Haven. Again, this is a tough pill to swallow, and this will be obviously in the weight room all in the upcoming offseason, but what a magnificent program Kevin Clancy has. They have nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, no one guarantees you a win in this game. They just guarantee a chance to play for the big one, and they're here they've been here for 4 straight years. They've got a heck of a program, but tonight they got beat by a Hopewell team that made a job out of beating undefeated teams one after the other, and there you see Kevin Clancy, a class act with a class program.
They certainly have nothing to hang their heads about, and this loss doesn't diminish in any way, shape, or form what they've done. I think one of the interesting parts about this day is that most people were saying it was going to be 1-1 East versus West. However, most pundits were saying it would be Rochester in the Class A game and Strath Haven in the AAA game. This was, from about the beginning, pretty much woodshed on the offensive line by Hopewell.
Well, here's a number that bears that out. They got a little wild tonight. They threw one pass. They didn't throw any last week.
Well, it was completed.
That's right. 305 rushing yards tonight for Hopewell. 0 via the pass. For an aeronautical engineer coach, I still can't believe it.
But he went to Miami of Ohio, the cradle of coaches, where Woody Hayes, Bo Schembeckler, and those guys hung out. So, although he threw the ball a little bit, and so did Weeb Eubank, but you know he's learned well. This is a great team, and again, that offensive line was indeed as advertised.
It's I think for some people this is a stunning outcome. I think for people who saw Hopewell play their last 4 games, and I'm sure Dave Vestal was very honest in his assessment of Bob Palco's speech. This is the way they've played all season long. They really just dare you to stop them running the football. Tonight, though, I was impressed with how well their defensive line stopped the running game of Strath Haven. I think that was as big a key as anything else.
The story tonight to me is the line. Kozlowski, as advertised. I thought Bruce was fantastic, but I thought Fontana conducted this orchestra like a fine director and made the orchestra play sweet music all evening for Hopewell to the gold medal.
Well, all I know is that when I go up to Happy Valley, I can't wait to see Paul Pelosny and what his future is. Love the way he runs the football, and it's going to be interesting. I know they're ticketing him for defense, but you really have got to be impressed with the way he ran. How about Mike Bruce tonight?
Bruce was outstanding running the football. As impressive was his ability to be the lead blocker. But Jed, you brought up in the 3rd quarter the idea of tempo, and this was a team offensively that I think established the rhythm of their running game right from the get-go, never went away from it because they didn't have to, but that rhythm is as important as anything else. They could have 3rd and 7. They knew what they wanted to do because the guys were all in sync. Kozlowski waited for the blocks to be made. Bruce hit the hole first, picked out his man. Kozlowski follows through, little zig, little zag with the shoulders, then they go.
Let's get one final thought from Mike Conti tonight. Michael?
Boy, Jed, if you are Joe Paterno, what do you do now with this situation? First of all, you have to be thrilled. Paul Kozlowski has an outstanding game tonight for Hopewell. You're exactly right. Most people believe that Kozlowski will play linebacker once he gets to Happy Valley, but you can't overlook his rushing efforts tonight. A good two-way player headed to Penn State. But the story tonight was Hopewell's offensive line, a dominant unit, a very cohesive unit, and as you guys mentioned, a very well-coached, masterful game plan by Hopewell. The rocket scientist, literally, Dave Vestal for Miami of Ohio, gets his first state championship.
And those same front 7 as well. Let's not discount what they did on defense either, holding a high-powered team that came in, averaging 39 points a game, held them to 10 points, and had a couple of big stands in this football game. And just outstanding champion, Hopewell, again, for the 2nd straight year.
Hudak, Jonke, Mack, Bocor, Currington, Iorio. I mean, these guys were tough all night long. And don't forget the little wide receiver McCrory making the great blocks on the outside.
Absolutely. And that's part of that rhythm, because he's got to be out there. He's got to make the blocks. He's also got to sell that they might pass it. I agree with you, though, Gary. All that being said, Fontana did an outstanding job. Kevin Clancy said in a couple of articles that we read beforehand, their main concern was Fontana because what he brings to the table. He can throw it, but he doesn't make mistakes. He can run the option, and he has great ball fakes. And that absolutely was a dandy performance.
We have been delighted to bring you 2 games today exclusively on Pennsylvania's Championship Network, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. We'll have 2 for you tomorrow. Mount Carmel and Seton LaSalle. That's our game at high noon. And then the main event at 5, Quad A, Woodland Hills, number 3 nationally against Parkland.
Take your Dramamine for the noon game, because it's going to be an air show in high style, and then just absolutely sit back and relax. I think the Quad A game, if it lives up to this, because this was as good a high school football game as I've ever seen, but if it lives up to that, and it has all the makings of it, a tremendous 2-day championship event here in Hershey.
And if you missed all of the action, we're replaying it again. You'll be able to see Southern Columbia and Rochester coming up next here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, and a little later this evening, we'll have a replay of this game here with Hopewell's 21-10 win over Strath Haven. So for the whole gang here, Steve Bowen, great working with you. We'll do it again tomorrow, sir.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Gary Sutton and Mike Conti, great job staying warm on the sideline if that's possible. Our WITF production crew, everybody with the Pennsylvania Cable Network. I'm Jed Donahue. Hopewell, an impressive statement for the West here. The Gateway Conference has done it again. Last year, West Allegheny. Tonight, Hopewell. Strath Haven suffered 2 losses in 2 years. It's come in the state championship game. They hang their heads high in a runner-up spot. They were magnificent in defeat. Hopewell, impressively, 21-10. Until tomorrow afternoon, everyone, good night.
You've been watching PCN's exclusive coverage of PIAA Championship Football on PCN, Pennsylvania's champion.